Ah, greetings, motors. What happened there? Something changed. No matter. The setup seems to be a bit slightly to the left, but that shouldn't really affect anything. My sincerest apologies, Japanites, for not being able to engage in the Peinteingu at a regularly scheduled interval. I woke up this morning to the power being off. Just like I tested it quickly, like, you know, it was like, hold on, there's no red lights on or anything like that, like, you know, and fucking trying to turn lamps on and shit. And I was like, oh shit, the power's gone, like, and then tried to like, thank fuck I charged me phone the night before, like, because I wouldn't have had any way of like checking or whatever like that. I had to go get credit for me phone, so I had like any internet at all. Like, it was excuse me. It was an eventful morning, in a sense, because like I wasn't able to do much because there was no power. So like I said in the Peinteingu chat, I was like folding clothes like a housewife listening to the birds chirp outside the window. It was incredibly calming. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, you know, oh, I need a break from online. Like, I need a screen detox. I need a digital detox or whatever like that. Like, it's probably because of it's probably because the generation I grew up in. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm used to being in front of screens. I'm used to being surrounded by tech all the time, and the low frequency hum of like electrical devices and stuff. And till about 3 p.m. today. So like I woke up around 9ish, about 8-9ish. So for like a good few hours, I was just like in silence, apart from looking at my phone now and again. Like, and the mobile network connection around here is utterly terrible. Like, so the phone wasn't even really working, to like a usable extent. So I was like, fuck it, like, you know, I shall just accept. Instead of, because it, like, the first hour or so, I was like, oh, this is fucking typical, like, do you know what I mean? Here we go, like, couldn't even have a shower or boil the kettle, anything, like, do you know what I mean? And I was annoyed, so, like, I was like, fuck it, I'll go for a walk and I'll get some groceries and I'll get credit for the phone, so I at least have some access to the internet, so I can at least check up on, like, the, it's called the ESB here, the electrical service broadcast. I don't know. The electrical service bitches. Fuck it. They have like a fucking thing on their website where you can like type in your address and see if there's any faults in the area and stuff like that. And like the thing that I found quite confusing was the only one that like I couldn't find one. It was probably because my internet was too slow. But like then the female checked from her end and she found one. And like the next town, like miles down the road, has like a scheduled maintenance thing today for their power lines. And they were telling the public that it was like, right, we're gonna have no power from like 8 a.m. to like 5 p.m. like, and I was like, oh fuck, that's probably it. Like, you know, it's probably after doing something down the line to me or whatever, like, and just dealing with it, like, you know. It was just funny though. It was just like folding clothes and like looking around the house being like, all right, like I can't, like I could, like, you know, do some work on the turtles or something like that, but I usually do, like, you know, like I had my routine set. I was like, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have a shower, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get ready for the stream, all this fucking shit, like. And I woke up and it was all just fucked, and I was just like, oh shit, like, looking around the house being like, okay, the washing needs to be done and this needs to be done and all. So it just completely shifted my mindset into like, okay, like no stream, no nothing, no, like, you know, even like sticking music on my phone while I'm fucking working out or anything like that, like. So I was like, right, completely different shift of routine. And after the initial frustration of the inconvenience of it all, like, you know, inconvenience me, how dare you? I was like, no, this is actually nice because it's a lovely day out today. It's you know, there's still a cool breeze, but it's like the sun's shining, beautiful blue sky. We got these big white fluffy clouds, and it's a nice day out today. So I was like, right, well, I'll go out the back garden for a bit, and I'll have myself a cigarette and a cup of coffee. Like, I went and bought one, you know. I went to the garage and got a coffee and a roll and stuff like that. Like, because initially I couldn't, like, you know, no power. I couldn't cook anything. Like, and then I noticed under the sink at around fucking 3 o'clock or something that the power light was still on for the hot water. Because we've this, like, little, what would you call it? Like a little fucking, it's essentially like an electric boiler or something, like, underneath the sink. And I seen that the power light was on for that, and I was like, hold on a minute, how does that have power and the rest of the house doesn't have power? What the fuck? So I started checking everything, you know, double checking everything, because like initially I was like, the rods aren't working, the lamps aren't working, like, you know, obviously don't have any power. And so I was just like, right, no power, right, rearrange the day. And then I come back and I'm like, what was I was like cleaning a plate or something, and I was just like, hold on a minute. Because I was like, right, I'm gonna take the bins out. I'm gonna do the bins. I'm gonna do all this stuff. Just get all this stuff done, clean the house and stuff like that. Like, and when I went to take the bins out from under the sink, I seen the light, and I was just like, that's fucking weird. So then I started fucking playing around with the fuse box, and I'd, like, you know, flick one off, flick the rest of them on, and be like, all right, what happened? And I, like, went around and, like, unplugged everything to see, like, you know, if there was, like, some kind of imbalance in the circuitry and shit, like. And I was like, there can't be. It's not like I plugged. It's not like I bought, like, a fucking, you know, industrial drill or something and, like, fucking plugged it in one of the rooms or some shit like that. Like, I haven't plugged anything new in, you know. So I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how have I, like, overloaded something or whatever, like. But anyway, I get 3 fuses down the line of fuses and everything stayed on. I was like, there we go. So went and made myself a cup of coffee, and I was like, okay, internet's back on, dishwasher's working. Grand, fuck it, let's fucking go. You know, like. So it was an interesting morning. How are you all? Are you all aware? Tars Tonku, Stabaru, Demon Hunter Beru, Korberu, Grifu, ooh. Welcome to Peinteingu. Jeez, there's a fucking gaggle of gooses outside my house right now. Loads of activity. Greetings. It's fried rice, you plick. That's what I always think of when I'm like, you know, Chinese people, you know, the fucking accent and the L's and the R's and all. Like, that's one of the first examples that comes to my mind. Is Lethal Weapon? Is it Lethal Weapon 3? I think it's Lethal Weapon 3. It might be I think it's Lethal Weapon 3. The one with Jet Li in it. So it could be 4. I can't remember. But it's like talking to, what's his name? Uncle. Oh, I can't remember his fucking name. Like, Uncle Benny. Uncle Benny, that's what his fucking name is. It's this really old, like, ugly Chinese fella. You're like, ha 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 ha! Like, you know, really, like, stereotypically, like, to a, you know, an arguably racist archetype of Chinese, like Uncle Benny in Lethal Weapon 3, and he, like, owns a restaurant and shit, like, and Mel Gibson and Danny Glover's characters got, what are they called again? Riggs and Murtaugh, and they fucking they go in and they're fucking. Remember, they're fucking with him in the dentist, and they're like giving him they're giving him the gas and all. He's like, like, oh, it's one of the funniest scenes ever. Like, it's like seriously one of the funniest scenes ever. Like, but then fucking they're in the restaurant and like they're like trying to fucking, you know, they're trying to poke holes because they know the restaurant is a front for criminal activity and shit like that. Like, he's just. I can't remember what Mel Gibson's character says, but then Uncle Benny just turns around and he goes, "It's fried ice, you plick!" It's fucking. It's seriously one of the. It's always just stuck in my mind of one of the funniest fucking examples of like a foreigner trying to speak English with like a really strong accent, like, "It's a fried ice, you plick!" Like, it's fucking fantastic. Like, I want to watch that again now. Like, that scene in the dentist where they're feeding him the gas, and they're all laughing. Like they start hitting the gas as well and all. It's so funny. Like fucking Mel Gibson like crying, laughing. Like it's a fucking brilliant scene. Yeah, Jet Li. Didn't we mention that a while ago? That movie, Unleashed. That's a fucking great Jet Li movie. And I was reminded recently of what we were watching. Me and the female are still watching that show, the OA. It's a fucking weird show. It's cool and interesting, but it's a fucking weird show. And that reminded me of like, because they like switch. It's like kind of a multiverse thing where they like their soul travels from one version of them through the universe and then like lands in another version of them in a different time in a different place that lived a different life and all, like the whole multiverse thing. And I was like, oh, that's like, you know, Jet Li's The One that came out in like early 2000s or something. Like I always forget that Jason Statham's in that movie. I was like, no way. But it was a fucking great movie. Like, and like their theory of like, you know, that they use technology to literally go from a different universe, you know, to travel between universes. And Jet Li's the bad version of Jet Li has been traveling from universe to universe and killing that universe's version of him, because when that happens, the like soul energy is redistributed to the rest of them that are still alive. So he's systematically murdering them all to become like a fucking god and shit. Really cool movie, like, you know. Like there's this hilarious scene where like the bad Jet Li is like running away from a load of cops and they're like chasing him in a fucking like one of those like SWAT SUV things, like a Humvee type thing, and you just see Jet Li go down the road past the Jeep, and your man looks at the speedometer and he's like, Jesus Christ, he's doing 60. Like, they don't have one-liners like that in movies anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? Where it's just like, you remember that in Predator when fucking Jesse Ventura's character with the minigun, where he's fucking like, bro, you're bleeding, and he just looks down. He's like, ain't got time to bleed. They're like, you know, hyper fucking alpha male shit. Like, I fucking miss that stuff. I heard Top Gun Maverick was alright. It's on Netflix at the moment. Part of me wants to watch it. I fucking love Tom Cruise. He's an absolute nutcase. I thoroughly enjoy watching Tom Cruise. If you haven't seen that movie, The Edge of Tomorrow, which is basically like an awesome futuristic soldier, awesome futuristic kind of like Starship Troopers sci-fi version of Groundhog Day. Man, that movie's fucking awesome for like all sorts of reasons. And Tom Cruise is brilliant in it, like, you know. It's like kind of got a comedic element in the first like hour and then gets really serious and dark the more it goes on, because he just gets killed like hundreds of thousands of times. Like they literally make it out. It's like, you know, like he's died so many times that he knows stuff like the back of his fucking hand. Like, do you know what I mean? And when you think about it, it's like, okay, if you're only alive each time for like say a few hours and you can only have a few minutes to interact with each person, how many times would you have to replay that to like be able to know the shit like a, you know, muscle memory style? Like, you'd fucking die hundreds of times. Like, you'd forget how many times you died. Like, it's a fucking awesome movie. The One, I am no one's bitch. Yeah, like, I am no one's bitch. Man, I thought the way The One ended was really cool. The way they like banished the bad one to a prison universe where like it's like this fucking lost universe where fucking like it's just this desolate place with like fucking old school like ancient structures and pyramids and shit, and it's just a load of people killing each other and stuff, and like they like transport him there and he just starts kicking the head off everyone. Like, they're all trying to kill him and he's just working his way up the pyramid like fucking everyone up. Like, it kind of gives you the implication that like, alright, eventually he'll get killed, or like, well, now he's just basically a god in hell or some shit. Like, it's fucking hilarious. No thank you, shitty chicken ornery. Uh, was he June Lee in the movie? Was who June Lee in what movie? Jet Li? June Lee? When you said when I read June there, I was like, are you talking about Tekken? Possible gravy in movie. Here was a dimension separate rearm. Like I think it. I don't know about the whole multiverse thing, especially after watching that OA thing, where it's like, because their version of it's kind of shit and like confusing, where like they supposedly leave their bodies and enter the like them, but in a different, time and place. And like straight up, like when it happens, when they do it, I turned around to the female. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. If they leave their version of them and enter another version of them on a soul consciousness level, then where does the soul consciousness of that version of them go? Do they swap? Like how does that work? And they don't. Like, in the episode that it happens, that isn't mentioned. But literally the next episode after that, someone turns around and goes, well, where are the other guys then? Like, and not a word of a lie, the character says, I don't care about them. And I was like, hold on. Like, is it just me, or there's like certain narrative decisions I was like, this has to be written by a woman. Like, and not just a woman, but like a really liberal woman. Do you know what I mean? With just like very little logic and just all of this like fantastical nonsense shit. Like it's just like, what the fuck? Like because the dude turns around to her and is like, okay, I'm trying to follow what you're saying here, and you're saying that your consciousness left your body in that version of your world and has now come to this version of you, but in a different time and place and all, like, so if you're now in this body, where's the other person gone? And she literally just goes, I don't care. And I'm like, that's not how you like, as the audience watching the show, you're left sitting there going, but like, that's like the biggest question so far in the whole story, and you're just not gonna answer it. Like, you're just gonna deflect. Like, it's fucking stupid. Like, Tom, yeah, I knew it's so like anytime you mention Tom Cruise, somebody always goes the way he runs. It's hilarious. Tom Cruise runs in all of his movies because he's always trying to outrun his gay thoughts. Yeah, was it Family Guy who did that? I think it was Family Guy who did that, wasn't it? And then like South Park took the piss out of him in another fucking. South Park took the piss out of him, and that's fucking Egypt's name. John Travolta. They took the piss out of Tom Cruise and John Travolta, and I love that scene in South Park where Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet, and they call Nicole Kidman, and Nicole Kidman comes to the house. And Tom's in the closet, and like they're all like in the hallway and in the room, out like where the closet is and shit. They're all like it's kind of like a intervention scenario, like. And Nicole Kidman comes in, like, and you know the way the South Park characters move and all. It's real, like, rudimentary and shit. Like, it's so fucking funny. You can't see Cruise because the door's closed and he's in the closet. And Nicole Kidman comes in. She's like, Tom, it's Nicole. And there's like about a 2-second pause, and then you just hear Tom Cruise go, "Hi, Nicole." It's like, it's fucking amazingly written and executed. Like, it's like so real. Like, I remember watching that episode and I was fucking crying. Like, it's so funny. Like, he's a very easy person to take the piss out of because he's very clearly like he's quite small. Do you know what I mean? When you see him like off the movie frame and you see him like around other people, you're like, he's a small dude, but like he has like the energy and like the fucking mindset of like a god. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's like, I can do anything. Like Scientology fucking like lucked out when they got Tom Cruise roped into that fucking ideology. Like that dude is a force of will. Like, I love watching the Mission Impossible. Oh, Impossible. I love watching the Mission Impossible movies. Like he's got that energy where it's just like, fuck it. If it was anyone else, it would be impossible. But it's me, so it's gonna happen. I fucking love it. Printer Baru, welcome. Iron Man Baru, welcome. The horror multiverse thing is Scamu. Instead of the whole multiverse, because you switch the L on, it becomes the horror multiverse. Man, I love the simple act of switching out L's for R's is fucking comedy gold. Like, the word believe becomes bereave, as in somebody dies, so it's like, instead of being please believe me, it's like please bereave me. Like, or if someone's like I believe you, it becomes I bereave you. Like, whole becomes whore. Like, what was it the other day when I was like, feelings to feel becomes to fear. Like, I'm sick of all of these fearings. I have to stop fearing all these things. It's like this weird psychological trick of language where it's like it still works, but like, it's fucking hilarious. Oh, I love it so much. Sounds like the 5-second nigga theory. It's gone from 15 seconds to 5 seconds. Like, I thought it was 15 seconds. Now it's 5 seconds. It's gonna be reduced to like 0.33 of a second. Like, oh god. What up, Prince? That's hilarious. It sounds like Prince. You are now Prinsu. Welcome, Prinsu, to Peinteingu. Super Adventure Club has secrets. Found harditsu word to sayo in English. It's realm. But in our reality, it's real. Yeah, like I say realm all the time, so when I go to say it in Japu speak, it's like, welcome, mortars, to Earthrealm. Like, it's like, I've said it a couple of times where, like, if I stay in character, if I say Japu for like 5 minutes solid, my jaw and my brain start to just be like, what the fuck's going on? Like, it does quickly become like, it's like you're becoming something else. It's probably just like, it's probably good for my health and my fucking mental state that I break character every fucking couple of minutes or every 30 seconds. Ugh. My nose has been running the last like 2 days, and I think it's because like all the bees and all the pollen and shit, like, so I'm getting a bit of a runny nose because there's lots of pollen running around, but it's also the temperature differential because, like, especially today, because the power was gone this morning, so I didn't put the heating on before I came in here, like, so I'm fucking cold. Oh god. I'm not sick or anything though. I don't feel unwell and shit, like, no more than usual anyway. Oh yeah. Yeah, the demo god says it easily. Well, I fucking want to be saying shit like that easily, considering I'm the one who made it up, and I'm the one trying to do it to entertain you all. Like, if I couldn't execute Jap speak on the fly, like even fly becomes fry. Like, I fucking love that shit. Like, I bereave, I can fry. There's like an endless amount of like hilarious like phrasing Japu things that like would make hilarious t-shirts. Like, I bereave, I can fry, and I'll do a groomsman like frying something or something. I don't know. Just put a whole chicken in a frying pan. Like, oh god. Right. Quick sip. Oh god. I need to trim my mustache. Every time I take a sip of anything, my whole face just like holds water. I need to trim my mustache. My mustache always like my mustache tends to like grow. It's seemingly at like double the rate as the as the rest of my beard. So like I always end up trimming my mustache like 2 or 3 times before my beard gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I kind of need to trim my beard. Like, it's always fucking, I don't know what it is. Like, is all the testosterone in I have a stiff upper lip to the point where just the hair just constantly like, I have a Wolverine upper lip. I bereave, I can fry. Yeah, like that. You would say it like. Even me dad, I texted me dad right with the t-shirts. I texted me dad the fucking mock-up of the t-shirts. Shout out to Printer Bear for the like the fuck. Even the mock-up of the t-shirts look fucking hilarious. Like, and he was like, what does the mantra mean? I was like, well, Peinteingu, allegedly, according to Google, Peinteingu is painting in Japanese, which still just gets me. Like, you wouldn't believe, as far as Google is concerned, like, it's probably, like, I hope it's not wrong. And from what I've heard, it's not wrong. Like, but, like, the amount of things that it's just, like, when I was actually trying to learn Japanese, I stuck on this, like, 8-hour long video of, like, beginning how to, like, the beginner Japanese class or whatever, like this on YouTube, like, and it's, like, broken up into multiple sections, but then there's, like, a version of it that's just, like, straight 8 hours of some... There's like a white bitch called Lisa, and then there's a fucking Asian young one called Risa, like Risa, and I swear to fucking God, I thought she was just like, her name is Lisa, but because she's Japanese, she couldn't pronounce it. She was like, hello, I'm Risa, and it's like, but then her name actually comes up on the screen, and it is actually Risa, and I was just like, this is fucking with my head. Oh, but no mess. Like, they fucking. It's generally the words. It's similar to Irish. Like, we used to call it. So when you're like when I was doing Irish in school, we used to have this term. So the word for English in Irish is berla. B-E with a little fada, the little accent thing. B-E-A-R-L-A. Berla, right? That's English in Irish, right? Oscuelga. And if you say, there was certain phrases that people would say, and it was kind of like lazy grammar, where you would mix Irish and English. So, I'm trying to think of an example now, like where it's like, I like most of the time they sounded horrible, like, where it's just utterly grammatically incorrect. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. The female would probably be able to think of one. But, like, the term we used to use for it is, like, if somebody said something that was, like, a mishmash, a horribly grammatically incorrect mishmash of English and Irish, we called it berlicus, right? Which is, like, a shorthand term for, like, it's basically, like, Irish English. It's like a shit... It's like pigeon English, like, do you know what I mean? But like, it's you know the way the fucking Indians will speak Indian and English, they'll speak Punjab and English in the same fucking sentence. I said that before on stream, like, it's like if you've ever watched any fucking Indian show, on an Indian network, even for like 5 minutes, they'll be like, so I was at the shop yesterday and they just switch, and they mix it up and switch and shit, like, It's fucking weird. Like, there's a whole culture that works like that. Like, they even have TV shows that incorporate it. Like, we had a similar thing with Irish and English. It's so fucking mad. Like, but you end up with all sorts of stuff like that, where these, like, when languages meet, and you have people speaking more than one language, like, together, like, all the time, and then they start, like, mixing them and shit. Like, it's fucking... It's one of the things that, like, to me is a glaring example of, like, God only fucking knows what we don't know anymore in terms of, like, cultural history for, like, all cultures. All of these stories, all of these, like, technologies, all of these myths and legends and language forms and, like, ways of doing mathematics, you know, like base 10, base 12, like all this shit, like all of these ways of thinking and communicating and, like, looking at things, all of these, like, viewpoints, you know, it's it's crazy to see how many there are, and, like, what happens when they mix, and, like, how they evolve into a new one and shit and all, like, and it's like, isn't that such a cool, like that's a good, true, beautiful thing to see, where two, like, cultures, like, naturally meet through trade and barter and, like, you know, doing stuff that benefits the other and shit like that, like, and having a harmonious relationship, and you get all of this cool stuff, like, straight up, like, if you have, like, interbreeding with the people, you get hybrids, you know, and, like, then you get fucking like, interbreeding of the language, interbreeding of the cooking and the food, and then the fashion, and then the ways of fighting, you know, like, that's happened throughout the ages, like, lots, where, like, people take one group's way of warfare and mix it and incorporate it into their own. They do the same thing with faith and religions and all this fucking shit, like, you know, it's like just this constant recycling of material, and, like, also, like, not just recycling, but, like, taking and modifying and boiling down and then, like, expanding upon as well and all, like, and then you have these fuckers who just, like, see everything as, like, competition, and, like, in a negative way, and see things as, like, you know, oh, if things get too like, sophisticated and deep and, like, you know, multi-layered and nuanced, then we won't be able to, like, you know, easily regulate it and stuff like that, and, like, and that's where that overbearing sense of order comes in, where they're like, no, everything has to be, you know, a cube and grey, and, like, every window has to be, like, a rectangle or a cube, and every door has to be a rectangle or a cube, and, like, fucking, do you know what I mean? It's like, when you look at, like, cities, it's all just boxes, like, geometrically speaking, even, like, when you just look at that, like, like, speaking from an artist's point of view, it's like, when you look at a city, it doesn't look like it belongs in the realm. It looks alien, you know, because we know that, like, humans have an ability to live harmoniously on the land. You build your, like, own habitat out of, like, the earth itself, and, like, use all the local materials around you to, like, construct a habitat and shit and live harmoniously on the land and stuff, like. But so many of us now are in this synthetic environment, and it's, like, advertised as being better than the alternative when it clearly isn't, you know. It's just fucking, anyway, now I'm just rambling. In the southwest and in big cities, we have Spanglish. Yeah, I'd say that's real common, because there's loads of people that speak Spanish, and there's loads of people or Spanish and English, like all the European countries, and then big style in America, you'd have, like, German and English, French and English, Spanish and English, and then over in America you'd have, like, well, not just in America, in Europe too, and in Asia. Like, imagine what the fucking, do you imagine what, like, Chinese English is like? You get, like, in an area like Hong Kong that, like, has, like, a very you know, a lot of Westerners going in and out of it and shit, and tourists and stuff, like, isn't Hong Kong the place that got their, did they try to get independence, or they did get their independence from Greater China at some point? I can't remember. There was something going on with Hong Kong the last like 10, 15 years or something, where they were, like, trying to, I think Hong Kong was trying to be a democratic state or some shit, like, you know, and the CCP was like, no. Like, I seen this video Was it yesterday or the day before? And there's some wild shit going on in China for years, like cyclically, like almost annually, that I wasn't aware of at all. And it makes a lot of sense. So they have this phenomenon, this cultural phenomenon in China going on a while now, called what do they call it? Revenge killings. Social revenge killings. So you have these people, in one day, across a few places in China, there was multiple events of people driving, just mounting the path with a lot of pedestrians or cyclists, killing a lot of them. Some dude went on a stabbing spree in like a school, killed a lot of children. Some dude killed a lot of children with a car, drove over them and shit like. And apparently this happens like annually, where there's like it's like a Rage Against Machine type thing, like where it's like the Chinese Communist Party is so tyrannical and so dictatorial. Dictatorial? I'm not sure how, like dictatorial? I don't know. But they're so like overbearing, and they're so like, you can't criticize the government, you can't do this, you can like keep your fucking mouth shut, like China's the best, China's the strongest, like all this like delusional shit, like, the public quite often just like snap, so you get these dudes who just like randomly attack a load of fucking pedestrians and shit. It's like, the way they like people wonder whether or not like a lot of the fucking school shootings and shootings like in Europe and in America are like set up or fake, and then some of them have proved to be so because they're just like trying to stoke fear and shit like that. Like maybe it's the same thing, like, but from what I could tell, it's not at all. I mean, like, your man was blurring out the videos and stuff. He was like, fucking, I won't even be able to show this on YouTube unless I like blur this shit out and all, like, and I'm still not getting monetized because I'm even talking about it. But it's some crazy stuff, like just bodies like all over the street, and there's kids and shit, like, and it's like, imagine living in a place like that where like you have a really, really, really highly dense, like a highly dense population, and a lot of them are like so just like overwhelmed with like how shit their lives are, and there's like almost nothing you can do about it apart from like work for the the greater being that is China. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they have that like social credit system there, years and all, where like you'll literally be like you're biometrically scanned going across a fucking pedestrian walk, and like if you jaywalk or some shit, or if you are like if you're caught like trying to like use the same ticket twice in a row, or some really benign stuff where it's like, you wouldn't think there's anything like to punish about that, like, or whatever. It's just like people being risky with stuff or whatever. It's just like like really basic benign human behavior within a system, and they like flag you and like will like post your image on like a billboard and all, and be like, this person has lost honor, essentially. Like, like they'll fucking take your ability to like own a car, use public transport, allowed to be on the internet, have a fucking landline or a phone, like, or even buy food, like, like if you get to the bottom, like, from what I've heard, like, you literally can't even like own money and stuff. Like, so there's like loads of people who are like just left at the wayside and shit. Like, I've seen scenarios where you have these like massive like outside China, or like in certain sections of the cities, you have these like insane situations where you have like all the Muslim, what are they called again? I can't remember what they're called. The Muslim, the Muslims that are in China that were like, just being put on trains and shit. Like, it's just, there's some mad shit going on that like, nobody talks about unless you go looking for it and shit. Like, I thought it was hilarious. I was watching this thing yesterday about the Baltimore Bridge, the truth about the Baltimore Bridge and all this shit, like, and what was it? It was fucking, yeah, the comment. That's what it was. There was a comment. I actually took a screenshot of it. Hold on a minute. Cause it made me laugh. Like, it made me laugh so fucking much. Like, I remember taking a screenshot of it. Like, just watching this video of the Baltimore. Oh no, that wasn't the fucking. Oh yeah, I remember. I knew I took a screenshot of somebody's comment that I thought was to do with that, but it wasn't. It was to do with Chivalry 2. Oh god. A quick tangent. Like, Demon Hunter Bear is probably going to be the only one who finds this funny, but I don't really care. So there's a video game called Chivalry 2, right? And it's like, it's half and half, like attempting to be quite realistic and simulate medieval warfare, where it's like, knights in armor and swords and shields and so on and so forth. Like, and there's like a fairly sophisticated fighting system in it, where it's like, incorporates counters, blocks, parries, deflections, and you can like aim around somebody's block and stuff like that. Like, and there's, your shield can break, you can lose your sword, your arm can be taken off, and you have to like pull a knife out or something. Like, so there's lots of quite realistic aspects to it. Like, but the overall vibe of the game is like hilarious. It's they don't take it seriously at all, like, and all the voice actors are like, so there's one group, one of the teams is called the Masons, and they're red, and then there's another team called the Agathians, and they're blue, and they have like a golden lion as their sigil, and the voices are very like over the top, medieval, like kind of ye old English funny kind of fucking. It's like if what did I say to Demon Hunter Bear? It's like if Monty Python, the whole Holy Grail shit, like the whole medieval Monty Python sketch in a video game, essentially. And there was a video that I was watching of basically some guy challenged another guy on the video game to a duel in a very specific way. So they were like standing on like a really narrow platform, and so you'd only be able to go back and forward, so it would make the fight even more difficult, like, and this, your man that challenged him, like, he gets like beaten quite badly, like, so it's kind of like fuck around and find out, like, I was going through the comments, and some guy wrote this. He's like, "Doeth thou want to catch it these hands? Fuck about and learn what for." Like a ye old medieval way to say, like, fuck it, if you want to catch these hands, fuck around and find out, like, "Doeth thou want to catcheth these hands? Fuck about and learn what for." Like, it's fucking like, that had me in stitches when I read it. Like, I was just lying in bed reading it, like, it's fucking brilliant. It's, yeah, like, it's really funny. Fuck about and learn what for. Haha. Like, I love that theme of that comedic premise of, like, you take a medieval timeline, like a medieval parameters to a scene, and like you can say some of the funniest fucking shit, like, "Doeth thou want to catcheth these hands?" So fucking funny. Yeah, the game is hilarious. It's a fucking hilarious game. It can be quite stressful because, like, there is actually a high skill ceiling to it. So if you're not good at the fighting, you'll just get butchered constantly by people, like, people just swinging for the fences constantly. So you just catch a fucking, like, a sucker punch to the back of the head, or a wild swing from somebody you didn't see in your peripherals. And then you got the guys who are like fucking absolute chads at the game and are like really good at the deflections and the counters and stuff. And they'll just make an absolute show of you, and you won't even be able to get a hit on them, like, and you just die like 4, 5, 10 times in a row without even being able to hit anyone, like, until you start to get like to grips with the combat engine and get good at the game, like. But it's fucking hilarious, like so, like, there's so many Me and Demon Hunter and his missus were playing. We were playing it there the other day, and I was standing beside a catapult and I was defending it. And so I was just standing there. I was just standing there with a two-handed hammer beside a catapult defending it. And another member of my team just walked up beside me and was standing there defending it with me. And then the fight was like over yonder, essentially away from us. And like we were like, we were basically like ahead of the pack. We were like, okay, they're all gonna come this way in about 20 seconds, so we'll stand here and get ready for them. So it's just me and another random dude standing there. And then you can use these like little voice taglines where you can like hold down square and select something to say, and your character will say it, and you can like customize those things and you can unlock more and shit. And the guy next to me was like, I am hated by many, loved by few, but known by all. And I was just standing like, I was like, what the fuck? Who said that? This nigga? Like, and like, there's like really cool, like simple, funny shit in it, like where you could just double tap square, and when you're like running in the battle, you could just fucking do a battle cry where you're like, yeah, like, and you could customize the battle cry, and like some dudes' battle cries are like, yeah, like it's fucking hilarious. It's a very entertaining game. Getting insulted by an old English major, like, yeah, like, Cunneth and apprehended me outside. How doth this find thee? What, you mean like, do you want to take this outside? What the fuck? Cometh and apprehended me outside. How doth that find thee? Like, oh god, I love it. It's hilarious. Like that and Japu speak are like my favorite ways to speak. Like, like I've said it before. Like me and a few of the lads used to do that, where like we'd like text each other as if we'd text each other pretending to be kings of opposing kingdoms, and like we were sending ravens to each other with letters of like threats against each other's kingdoms. And like whole paragraphs of like, we will take your women, and we will take your women and your children as our own. Your fields will be burnt, and the land and the earth salted. We will burn any recollection or records of you even existing. Your names will be stricken from the realm. No one will remember you. Like, some of the shit we said to each other, like whole fucking like whole like not even paragraphs, like whole like A4 pages worth of text. And this is back when it was like still on Nokia's, where you're like sitting there like going clickety click clickety click clickety click, like, like fucking 1 2 3 for C, like like a fucking typewriter, like, like on a Nokia 3210 or some shit, like texting each other. It's pretending to be kings, like. Oh, it's fucking hilarious. Like some of it, and then we'd actually meet up the following day, like, in person, and like go to play football or like climb trees and shit or some shit. Like, I would just be like, the second you see each other, it's like, where did you come up with the shit that you were saying last night? Like, we'd almost wouldn't even say anything to each other, but just like the second we got within eye contact, we'd just start laughing. Oh, it's fucking brilliant. It's the simple things that make me laugh. Anyway, right. We get some. I've nearly been sitting here for fucking 50 minutes just talking shite, as per usual. What does that say? Oh, Donald's. Some of the trucks you see passing on this fucking road and all, like, the way some truckers like have their cabs like all decked out with like fucking plush, like cuddly toys and stuff like that, like strapped to the front. I seen this brilliant one the other day, and I had a fucking like I had a cuddly lion, like just like fucking cable tied by the wrists to the front grille of the truck, and like the fucking thing was manky, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's probably on the truck years and it's never been cleaned, like, and it's just this cuddly lion just, like, crucified to the front of the truck. I seen it, like, just zoom past me the other day, like, and I was just like, what the fuck is that? Like, I love shit like that, like. Oh, God. Right. We will commence the goo. Okie dokie. Where are we? Tunes. Where's my tunes? Where's my tunes, bro? Okie dokie. Commence goo! Excellent. Okie dokie. Yeah, I don't know why my setup is like slightly different, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. Oh shit, what happened there? I'm after making it even worse. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Some of the tabs on this Streamlabs thing are like really annoying to try and use. Swear to God, like. I experienced this problem before when I switched from the other laptop to this laptop. And I was like, why is that a thing? That's so annoying, like. You try and, like, arrange the structure of, like, where everything is, like the chat and the super chats and, like, the video that I can see and the audio levels and stuff. And, like, sometimes it just doesn't want to work in an intuitive fashion at all, like. Yeah, like, now my screen's fucking tiny. The fuck, like. It's pure annoying. Like, it's not a it's not a big deal. I can still see, like, the proportions of everything. But my reference right now is fucking tiny. That's just annoying the fuck out of me, like. Don't want to make the chat too small that I can't see it, like, you know. Yeah, the chat's too small there. I am vexed. This is vexing me. Why doesn't that, like, that's just stupid. It'll move left, but it won't move right, like, what the fuck? Peinteingu! Peinteingu. Rub hands together. Oh, sorry. I thought you said commence Jew. Commence Jewing! Like, just, like, oh, that's seriously just pissing me off so much. Like, how just not intuitive this fucking setup is. Like if I want it to be over here, like, that's like ridiculous. That's just so stupid. Like. No, yeah, don't want that. No. Editor. Layout editor. There we go. No, that didn't work. Layout editor. Audio mixer source selector. Yeah, that's the one I have. Okay. Save changes. Still not working. Oh god. It's just one of those days. I wake up and the power's out. And now when I go to use my laptop, the settings are changed for some reason, even though nobody's changed it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I haven't changed I haven't touched a fucking thing, and it's all just changed. It's so fucking stupid and annoying, like. Alright, I'm gonna save it to that instead. No. That's fucking... Now there's 2 of me. That's useful. Not. Jesus Christ. Whoever designs these things is actually fucking... This is what happens when nerds design things. They're not intuitive at all. They're not intuitive at all, like... Like, how am I supposed to... Like, I'm just supposed to know what all of these things do. I'm supposed to know to, like, you know, there's no manual for this shit. Oh, there's a help button. Like, do you know, like, fuck off, like. It's utterly ridiculous, like. People don't know how to make shit that people can just use anymore. What the fuck? This is so fucking annoying. Like, now there's 2 of me. And I don't even know why. Like, what the fuck? Oh, God. Ah, hair, like... That's so fucking stupid. You must forgive me for my inability to deal with the machinations and creations of fraud mortars. Like, what the fuck? Like, the way the tab, like, the way you can edit your fucking your layout is utterly retarded. It doesn't make any sense that you can pull things in but can't pull them back out. So once they go small, you can't make them big again. Like, why? Like, what the fuck? That's so stupid. Like, it's so thick. Like, the mouse cursor changes to a symbol that denotes that you can move it. Like, it's like a slider, you know? And you can, like, move it to the left or move it to the right. And it just, like... It just doesn't want to move in the other direction. But it'll move, it'll make everything smaller. It'll make everything smaller and illegible. But it won't make everything bigger and useful. That's fucking helpful. Like, what a flawed system, like. I was only talking yesterday about how fucking, like, anything humans make would be flawed. This is fucking shit, like. I've had a few instances, like... I think it was was I using StreamYard? I was using StreamYard for ages. And then they were like, oh, you're not allowed to use this for free anymore. You have to start paying for it. It's like, fuck off. The setup on StreamYard, like, was fairly intuitive. You just click shit and it works, and you can move this over here and blah blah. Like, this is a load of bollocks. Like, Streamlabs is fucking retarded. Like, really is, like. And I know there's a load of nerds out there who'd be like, oh, you just need to know how to use it. Well, it's like, if I have to watch YouTube videos to learn how to use your product's shit. Like, your product should have, like, a fucking tutorial section and, like, you know, how to use this and, like, you know, like, all these things that, like, should just be fucking intuitive or, like, you know, common sense and shit. Like, no, none of it, like. And now my reference for the screen is, like, fucking tiny, and I can't do jack shit about it. Like, the audio mixer is, like, the size of, like, the fucking screen I'm looking at, like, and I can't reduce it no matter what I do. It's like, I remember this happening before, and it took me ages to figure out how to actually just edit it back. To a fucking, like, to a comfortable, workable layout. Like, it's fucking retarded. And sit back and enjoy the music and listen to me bitch and moan about how shit Streamlabs is. Utterly fucking, like, what a bell end of a fucking system, like. Like, I'll go in and click a different setup and click save changes. It doesn't change it. It's not applying those settings. It's so fucking stupid. Like, I can make my chat fucking huge. How does that make any sense? Like, I can make my chat tab huge. Like, I can pull it all the way across the screen. I can pull the audio mix all the way across the screen, all the way to the left. I can't move the TV. The screen that shows me what I'm streaming, can't move that. I can only make it smaller, can't make it any bigger. How does that make any sense? Like, this is so fucking thick. Peinteingu. So fucking stupid. Right. I have fixed it. It's not the way I wanted it, but it's better. Fuck, it took me like 5-10 minutes to figure out how to just fucking make the fucking screen bigger. What a joke. You're taking the goddamn piss, Streamlabs. Right. We have a bagel to paint. Peinteingu. Let's get these bitches wet and get the goo throwing. Where's my royal rag? It was hilarious. Fucking Bravey Bear turned around to me and he was like, "What's that thing in the rear cart? What's that white thing in the rear cart?" And I was like, "It's supposed to be full of shoes." Oh. I'll have to redo it. Like, they look shit right now. Like they're the shape of shoes, but like, because there's no detail, because there's no detail in them from a distance, it just looks like a blob, like, you know. So I have to fix that shit. Right. Probably gonna end up spending a lot of time on these shoes to get them to a place where, like, I'm satisfied with how they look. Oh yeah! Like, part of me is thinking, will I paint it all white and then go back in and make them, like, different colours and shit? I'm not quite sure. Painting, go, 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 go. Yay! Oh, lordy. Yeah, like, I'm gonna change that one to just brown. I'm making more brown, Stabaroo. Don't you say a fucking thing. Don't you dare. Allow me to make brown in peace. First we make it orange. And then we darken it. Well, so I haven't forgotten that Dick Ford made an excellent suggestion to put a beehive and a lot of honey dripping down one of the bear's paws. It's a great idea. So I won't forget to do that. Paint, paint! Paint shoes! Jew shoes! Paint, paint! Paint shoes! Jew shoes! Brown shoes! Just fucking shoes. Paint, paint. Paint, paint. Paint, paint. Paint, paint. Painteingu, goo, 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 goo. Yeah, I'll make them all boots, so it's just like blatantly obvious that they're like footwear. Painteingu, goo, 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 goo. Indeed, fraud mortars are a menace on the room. Indeed, they are. Like, there's nothing that like gets me like really fucking frustrated and annoyed quicker than technology that's supposed to be convenient and easy to use that clearly isn't. Do you know what I mean? And like, as somebody who's played video games and like has a dad who works in IT and all this shit, like I've used computers, I've grown up with computers, I've grown up with like screens and menus and like all this fucking shit. There's a big difference between an intuitive system that just works and something that's just like you literally have to know how it works to be able to do anything. It's like Photoshop. If you just bring up Photoshop, there's all these tabs and all these words and all these things and you don't know what any of it fucking means. And if you want to learn how to do it, someone literally needs to teach you, or you need to like read up on a book or fucking look up hours and hours of YouTube videos like how to do this, how to do that, how to do this. Like it's stupid. If you make a product, like a monkey should be able to fucking use it. Like, do you know what I mean? If you like I know there'd be fucking idiots that turn around and be like, yeah, but you have all of these like different options and there needs to be. It's like, if you can't intuitively design a system so that your customer can just like use it, then like how do you expect to fucking be successful? Like, do you know? It's like our fucking government, like, do you know what I mean? I was only thinking that earlier on. It's like all this fucking bullshit that they fucking talk all the time. Like spending 6 billion euros on, it's like, oh, we built a new children's hospital and, you know, it only cost us 6 billion fucking euros. Like, isn't our economy in the tank? Like, yeah, but like the kids, like, you know, think of the children, like, you know, it's like, and then you see the thing and it's a fucking absolute dumpster fire looking thing. It looks like badly thrown together sheet metal. Do you know what I mean? Just like welded together awkwardly, like with massive panes of glass and so it's fucking horrific looking. It's an absolute eyesore of a thing. And it's supposed to be a fucking children's hospital. And like at the same time that our government is like spending 6 fucking billion euros on a poxy children's hospital, I can't get decent signal if I don't have internet. You know? And it's not like I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm literally in a town in the center of the island, essentially, where a shitload of the fucking produce that's involved in our economy, whether it's import or export, moves through a main road in this town every fucking day of the week. How does that make any sense? Like, so you have all this produce and all this shit that's like is clearly part of our economy going through a fucking main road in our town all fucking day. But like the plumbing and the internet and like all this town's like a kip. It's a run-down, outdated, fucking neglected piece of shit. And like a lot of the people, you know, when you look at them, when you look at the houses and the run-down businesses and stuff like that, they like resemble the energy of the town. Do you know what I mean? They're run-down people. They're fucking scummy-looking people, like, and all this fucking shit, like, and our government has the fucking neck to like give off this vibe of like Ireland is so progressive and so, you know, ready to be involved in the greater scheme of things and be an international country and all this fucking shit. It's such a load of bollocks. They're lying through their fucking teeth all the fucking time just to line their own fucking pockets. It's fucking disgusting. When you have all this fucking bullshit of like, you know, the way they speak and shit, where they're like, we're doing our very best to integrate, you know, rural areas into the modern sector. Like, it's like they just, this corporate jargon is one of the most soul-destroying, energy-draining, mind-numbing things to read. Because you can just tell it's all bullshit, you know? And like, I am engaged to a female who works for a government entity. Do you know what I mean? And like, even before she had that job and became aware of some of the inner workings of the government, like, I was aware of the reality of like a lot of those things because I'd been in and out of the social welfare and all that shit from like after going to after leaving school and shit, like, and it's like it's just retards. It's just basic bitch, low IQ, no ambition, ugly fucking retards sitting at a desk, adhering to protocol, doing what they're told, you know, passing fucking one document down to another fucking section, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's all, you know, the way that people complain about all the, oh, we have systemic this and systemic that. What's systemic in Western society is fucking stupidity. That's what's systemic. Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole fucking thing is designed from the top down, bottom up, by a bunch of fucking retards, and then it's controlled by psychopaths. And like, and the result of that is like something is stupidly like what should be incredible at this stage, you know, when everybody in their fucking grandmother has a poxy stream. You'd think something like this, like an interface like this, would be incredibly intuitive and easy to use and like all this shit. It's like, no, it's not. You literally have to like teach yourself how to use this fucking, all these like ins and outs of the system, like the difference between screen capture and window capture and like its nuanced different properties and how you can use them in different ways and all this shit. And like I said, it's the same with Photoshop. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the fucking mad shit you can do with Photoshop. But if you just sit down, if someone just hands you Photoshop and it's just like, edit that photo, you'd be sitting there for hours clicking on different things and tools and tabs and symbols, being like, well, what does this do? And what does this do? And what does it... It would take... If you were just to use it and trial and error the shit out, it would take you months or years to figure out how to do, like, anything, like, you know? Instead, you'd have to like literally have a book of how to use Photoshop, or a dude who knows how to use Photoshop to teach you. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. I agree with what Owen said there. Fucking, was it yesterday or this morning, where he's like, I love AI. Like, it's fucking, it makes loads of things able to, like, you know, with a really low budget. Like, you can just have your fucking phone and access to an AI engine and just be like, make this, and it fucking makes it. Like, you know, like, what you want now is like I'm sure somebody's fucking doing it, but like, what you want now is you want an AI hooked up to a 3D printer. That's the next step. Instead of being able to like go onto fucking one of these like AI engines and be like, you know, create me an image of a, you know, fucking black guy with a Viking helmet throwing a giant golf ball, and then boom, it does it for you. Like, you're gonna be able to go fucking like make me an M16, and it just and just prints you an M16, and it's made out of like fucking, you know, really highly resistant to fucking shattering plastic material. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they've been doing that for a few years now, where you can like fucking print guns and shit. Like, so like that's the next thing. You just have an AI hooked up to a 3D printer. Fucking make me a monkey. Like, the first advertisement of the day. Or is it? I can't even remember. Paint. Paint shoes. Rots of shoes. Paint. 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 Jew shoes. Paint. Go a bit darker with the brew. Paint. Painting, goo. I was doing some work on the Commando Tactical Turtle watercolor painting that I'm working on at the moment. I was doing another layer of green on him earlier on, and I've said this before, like a few times. I really like painting with watercolors. I love painting with gouache as well, but there's something about watercolors where, like, you know, it's kind of transparent and vague. Like, how funny is that? I'm always going on about, like, I want it opaque, but like, when I got to do a character design thing, like, I actually love working with watercolor. Painting, goo. Right, I want to make green. I seen the postman actually walking past my house when I was coming back from a walk earlier. And I was like, oh, is Denmark's package here? And then he just walked straight past my house, and I was like, fuck! Painting. Google. That Prussian blue is so strong. You can put like put like seriously like the fucking a fucking pinhead's worth of Prussian blue into primary yellow, and like boom, there you go, bright green. Intensu. But I don't want bright green, do I? No. I'm kind of like a dark khaki green. Who the fuck wears bright green shoes? Not even leprechauns wear bright green shoes. Fucking leprechauns wouldn't be caught dead in bright green shoes. Painting. Google. Painting. Google. Paint, paint. Paint, paint. Paint, paint. Oh yeah! Paint, paint. Painting goo, goo, goo. Paint, paint. Like, part of me's thinking I should just make them all brown, but like from a distance it'll just look like a big blob of brown, like, you know? Like, don't get me wrong, when you get close to it, it'll be like, oh yeah, it's a pile of shoes or a pile of boots or whatever, like. But from a distance it'll just look like a pile of shit. Like a cart full of manure or something, like. Painting, goo, 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 goo. Can't believe they let Owen play those sketch on Eric Jones' show. Glorious. Yeah, man, the pendulum's swinging. People are, I know it's like not the best reason what I'm about to say, but like the reality is it's beginning to become profitable again. To allow people to be genuinely fully and call shit out. Now, how long that's going to last and where this all goes, I'd like God only fucking knows. Because I've a feeling that as the pendulum swings, like I said before, as the pendulum swings, we're going to end up with a situation where there's going to be like a clash. Because, like, you know, the people who have like really gotten into this system of like, oh yeah, like I fucking love being a tranny, like, you know, like there's all sorts of people who want to be in that Babylonian system and like they fucking love it, like, you know, and it's gonna be interesting to see the clash that's coming between people like us and people like them. It's like psychopaths and normal people can't live in harmony. Paint, paint. There's no living in harmony with psychopaths. You know? Now, can you just like work around it? Do you have to go to war? You know, you have to kill them? Do you have to like fucking, I don't fucking know. Like, I'm not well versed in grand social cycles. In terms of like being responsible for fucking all these people's lives and like making decisions that affect like all these people and shit, like When you realise that the people who are allegedly in charge of all this shit are like more than likely fucking lunatics, kind of puts a dampener on, like, you know, fucking. I'm sure somebody somewhere, like, you know, knows what they're doing and like is good at their job and shit. It's like chances are, like, it's fucking, like I was saying earlier on, it's like, forget the blind leading the blind. It's like willful fucking malevolence and stupidity, which is like a horrible fucking combination, you know. Like I do believe that fucking if I was to put money on it, what happened in Baltimore with that bridge is that's one of those things that it's just sheer incompetence. Fucking Andrew Tate saying the thing was hacked and all. Fucking gobshite. Like, that chap's actually such a faggot in so many ways. Like, it's so funny. Like, trying to get like a military green here. Get khaki green. Yeah, I think it was just sheer incompetence. It had an accident in 2016. That particular ship had an accident in 2016. They've constantly been going on about how much they love diversity and they're like really woke. Like the corporation that owns that particular ship is like really fucking woke and shit. And did a fucking bunch of Indians working on the fucking thing and all, like, you know. That tells me it's just fucking incompetence. They're just thick fucks who don't know how to do their job correctly. Like, that's where, like, you know, fucking Vox Day has said it before. Like, I completely agree. Don't ascribe to malevolence what you could ascribe stupidity to, or whatever the way you say it. Like, you know, it's like you'd be surprised how often it's just people being retards. And like you're sitting there being like, oh my god, like they're out to get us, this is ridiculous, this is like, you know, evil and all this stuff. It's like you'd be surprised how often it's actually just fucking idiots, you know. And I suppose that's like, it's like fucking, it's better, isn't it? I mean, it's like, it's still unfortunate that that's a reality. We have fucking idiots like in charge of things that they shouldn't be fucking near them, and they're fucking in charge of them. It's just the reality of things, unfortunately, now. Like, you know, between all the corrupt politicians and the fucking woke ideologues who are like getting into corporate power and all this fucking shit. Like, it's just, like, in a big way, we just have to ride it out, you know. In my humble opinion, is just like, you know, hunker down, stay moral, keep your soul intact, and a lot of this is just gonna blow over because it's like the snake eating itself. Like, do you know what I mean? It's pure, utter fucking degeneracy and incompetence, and like just people being fucking stupid assholes and shit, and it's just all going to come crashing down on them. And it's probably going to be hilarious, you know? It's probably going to be fucking hilarious. So just sit back and enjoy the show, you know? Like, I haven't watched the Alex Jones thing yet that Owen was on. I'm still catching up on his stream that he did yesterday. Finish it after I do this. Go make myself some dinner and shit. Like, but like from what I heard of it, and you know, that rabbi, the guy who sells the dildos and stuff. Like, what a degenerate piece of shit. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I get where Owen's come from. It was like, yeah, he's kind of funny, like, you know, whatever, like that. Like, you got to look on the bright side of things and not let stuff get to you too much. But like, what a scumbag, you know? Oh, like, my products have saved marriages. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if lube and dildos saves your marriage, in quotes, like, what the, like, that's disgusting. That's pathetic and sad and disgusting. Like, don't get me wrong, in extreme cases or rare cases where, like, it's like some kind of medical condition or some shit, sure, get it, make a homemade lube. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, fucking, if the only way you can get off is putting a kumquat up your arse or some shit like that, like, do it in private. But the fact that we actually have, like, businesses that make these items en masse, it's horrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that I don't watch porn anymore and haven't done it for fucking, like, years now, like, the further, like, the longer you haven't been watching it, and that, like, it's crazy. It's crazy how it resets your brain, and you start looking at all this stuff, and you're just like, it, like, sometimes I literally feel, like, disgusted to the point where I think I'm actually gonna feel ill. Or I'm just like, oh my god, that's fucking foul. Like, you know, and I remember, like, when I was, like, totally okay with watching porn on the regular, I would still see, even though I was engaging in degenerate, shameful behavior and watching disgusting shit, like obscene stuff, I would still come across stuff and be like, oh god, like, you know, you'd see a thumbnail or something and you'd just be like, oh god, like, not that kind of porn. I just want to see two people fucking, like, you know. And, like, now that I don't, like, even engage at all, I could see some young one on the road, and just the way she's dressed, I'm like, you fucking whore. Like, there's, like, a voice in my head. It's like, where's your father? Like, your dad let you leave the house looking like that? Like, you know, like, I was even doing it with fucking, Emma was showing me, like, pictures of the last holiday she went on, like, last year they went to, like, some fucking, oh, I can't remember, it was like what, it was a Fortaventura, I'm not sure. And there was, like, roller coasters and fucking, it was a show with all these birds and stuff and blah blah, like, and the stuff her younger sister was wearing, I was just like she's like 15. She looks like she works in a brothel. Like, what the fuck? Like, the makeup, piercings, fucking tits out, and you're just like, that's like, what the fuck? Like, you know, that's the type of young one that if she gets, like, sexually assaulted or something like that, you're just like, you know, what the fuck? Like, it's you're fucking to blame for that. Like, in my humble opinion, it's like, if you know flies are attracted to shit, don't cover yourself in shit and then go, oh my god, what's with all these flies? Like, it's like, you're a fucking retard. Like, like, I just, oh. And, like, yeah, I have been retarded. I can be retarded. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm not retarded, like, in any sense of the word or whatever. Like, but, like, fuck me. Like, I just look at other people's behavior now, and I'm just like, thank fucking god I'm not them. I thought it was so funny earlier on, where, like, last night when I was going to bed, I, like, it's not that I said a little prayer. I just, like, you know, sometimes I just talk to God as if he's, like, just as if it's listening, or he's listening, or whatever. And I was just like, thank you for everything that I've got right now. Thank you for, you know, the way things have gone. I'm very grateful. Like, and then I wake up and the power's gone in the house. And and the first reaction I had was like, oh, this sucks. Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't do anything. Can't even make a coffee. Like, oh, this is such bullshit. This town sucks. It's such a fucking piece of shit. Which it is. This town's a fucking heap of shit. And the people in it are, like, I guarantee you, like, you know, at least 50% responsible for how much of a fucking dive this place is. And how poorly the upkeep has, you know, been fucking maintained. Like, it's a fucking little shithole of a town. Like, and it can't just be blamed on, like, oh, well, the government, you know, wouldn't give us the road, and, like, the government this and the government. It's like, no, you people are clearly of the mindset of just, like, well, if they don't fix it, then who's going to fix it? I mean, like, what the fuck? I mean, it's, like, rural enough that it's like you literally have, like, a fucking you you have a business down the fucking road that like makes cinder blocks. Like they have a fucking quarry and like cement and all this shit, and they make concrete cinder blocks and stuff. There's like, you know, multiple farms. There's a creamery around the corner that like makes milk and shit, like, you know. So don't fucking tell me that this town couldn't have like made it itself. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, make the fucking road yourself. Oh well, we'll all get arrested. Like, the government won't let us. What does that even fucking mean? Is it illegal for a fucking a community to like ask for something? And then fucking when the government is like, we don't have the budget, it's like, alright, well, can we build it ourselves? Will you arrest us if we, you know, come together and build a road we think we need? Like, what kind of fucking madness is that? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, the government won't do it for us, so we're just gonna wait. We're just gonna complain and we're just gonna wait. And we're all gonna get depressed and the businesses are gonna go out of fucking, you know, they're gonna run down and go closed and like... people are gonna move and all this fucking shit. It's like, well, it's your fault then. Like, what the fuck? Like, do you know what I mean? It's so fucking annoying to me. Like, it's genuinely really frustrating to look at the behavior of other people, like individually and collectively, knowing like what I've done and the choices I've made. It's not survivor's guilt. It's like survivor's frustration. Do you know what I mean? Could you imagine like figuring out how to survive a zombie apocalypse and being like, okay, I get it now. I know how the shit works. I need to do this, and this, and I'll be fine. You know? And then like you're doing it, and you're like, oh yeah, this actually works. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, God and fucking, you know, good, true, and beautiful, and like good vibes and fucking self accountability and taking responsibility and all this jazz. And then like you're surrounded by utter trash who are just behaving like utter trash. And like the result of that is because there's so many of them who are trash, you have to fucking use and deal with all these systems that they've created that are fucking trash. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, painting, goo 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 goo. You look at something like England, you know, where like the trains never run on time. You had an empire that spanned the known realm, allegedly, and your trains don't run on time. Let me repeat that. At one point, allegedly, the sun never set on the English Empire, and now your trains don't run on time. You have failed. The fucking, like... Do you know the whole, like, you know, the religious thing of, like, original sin and stuff? Like, the concept of being born and being like, well, your daddy was a bad man. And before him, his daddy was a bad man. So automatically, you're a bad man. And you have to suffer. And all this shite, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of similar to that, like, even if you just remove religion and shit, it's like, we literally come here and, like, our children, and we're like, oh, and then you grow up, and your fucking frontal cortex, like, develops, and you start looking around and paying attention, and you're like, hold on a minute. You guys not only lied to me about, like, things like Santa Claus and, like, fucking conspiracy theories and all this shit, but you also lied to me fundamentally on a daily basis, making it out like you knew what you were doing and you had your shit handled. Paint. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you have all these fucking supposed adults and supposed, like, you know, sophisticated systems that have been designed over hundreds of years and all this fucking shit. And, like, knowledge gained from past experiences. Like, as far as I can tell, most of you haven't learned a goddamn thing, have made the same mistake again and again and again, and then bitch and moan that people my age and, like, with my potential haven't, like, gotten a job and figured things out. Are you surprised? Like, logic that out. Like, do you know, if you've fucked everything up and made everything trash for the kids you didn't even want, are you surprised? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Like, that's why when I started looking at that, when I was watching that video about all that shit that's going on in China, I was like, it makes sense. It makes total sense. You've all these people who are so fucking fed up and frustrated with all of these systems and these rules that don't make any sense. They don't make anything better. You know, they don't increase your quality of life. They're fucking quite often contradictory, unfair, and rigged. And like, most of the time, if you don't agree with how it works, or you think it would be better if it was done in a different way, you're called stupid or a hater, or like, you know, like all of this different shit. Well, I was late today as well, Deirdre of the Sorrows, so you haven't dishonored yourself at all. The fucking Irish, the local Irish government fucking dishonored themselves by fucking cutting the power off this world. Faggots. But like, it's just so like, it pisses me off so much to see all these people operating in such a manner. It's funny because like it's like a pendulum swing where like I used to be like, oh, the government, like, oh, world powers, like, you know, complain about like how they make things difficult for the small man, like the average man, and all, like the common man. Common folk are always getting like shafted and shit, like. And I'll be honest, now it's actually your average person who like I have a little bit of resentment towards, because I'm just like, you're the problem. You're actually the fucking problem. Like, you've accepted this lifestyle as just like what it, and you've accepted the conveniences and the lollipops and the fancy pants and all this fucking shit. And because you're so disgusting and weak and pathetic, the rest of us have to suffer for it on a level. And it's like one of the most like, it's one of the most dishonorable and insulting fucking situations to be in, when you have like an entire section of your population that is so infantilized and degenerate and retarded, that we essentially have to like pick up the slack, you know. And then you have all these fucking, you know, boomers and stuff that'll just fucking, like, why don't you just stop complaining and get a job and all? Like, you know, it's so fucking. There's so many different levels of disconnection from reality. You know, you have the older generation who has no reference and compassion or ability to comprehend. Like, they can't put themselves in the shoes of their own children or their grandchildren and be like, oh yeah, well, like, things were totally different when I was your age, and cheaper, and like, you know, made better, and like, depending on where we are, made locally. Do you know, like, it's crazy. Like, if a person in their 60s or like 50s or 60s now turned around to me and was like, oh, your generation's just lazy, I would be very tempted to just put my thumbs in his eyes. Just be like, shut the fuck up, scum. Like, you know, like, I do relate a lot to that stuff that I seen in China, where like people just snap and start killing people and all. Like, you know, like I relate to that, where I'm like, the level of self-control people like us have to not snap and to just go, okay, how do I control my life? How do I make things better? How do I deal with this, you know, more efficiently? Not just in a moral and spiritual way, but in a physical and, you know, mental and an everyday way, and all this shit. And like, the fucking awareness and willpower and like you know, to just do that alone, like, to just be in the mindset alone these days, to just like self-reflect, you know, to just look at things like in an inward way. Like, fuck all people do it. fuck all people do it. Like, you still see all, like, your average person, especially in this town. Maybe I need to move. But, like, I just look at them, like, in the shops and on the street, and I'm just like, these people are so ugly and run down. And, like, I don't care if that's, like, you know, oh, that's mean. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm, like, an Adonis. I'm not saying I'm gorgeous. But, like, I at least have a symmetrical face, and, like, I'm alright looking. Do you know what I mean? I'm, like, a fucking high 6 or some shit on the male fucking attractive scale or some shit. Like, on a good day, I'm a 7. But, like, I genuinely look at these people, like, men and women, like, you know, and I'm like, why are you so fucking ugly? Because, like, it's not like you see a bunch of flowers or a bunch of fucking rabbits or a bit, like, do you know what I mean? And, like, they all look similar, but they're different. But they all have a uniform shape, you know? So it's, like, it's obvious to me that, like, there is a truth and a reality to, like, there are people who should not procreate. Like, there's people who shouldn't be allowed procreate. Like, you should fucking need to go to court to, like, argue why you should be allowed procreate. Like, do you know what I mean? And, like, I'm not just talking about aesthetics, but, like, it's like the whole physiognomy thing, the whole aesthetic thing does play a part. You know, if you're physically really unattractive and asymmetrical and ugly and overweight and you have all these ailments and stuff, like, do you know, like, you're just in being that, you're a burden on society. You, like, in so many ways. And I see them all over the place. We have these foul, like, disgusting looking people with, like, 4 kids. And, like, the kids are kids. You, like, do you know what I mean? The kids are, like, cute. And, like, they've symmetrical faces. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's rare that you come across a child and you're like, oh my god, that's a really ugly looking kid. Do you know what I mean? But when you have, like, these, like, loads of adults who look like, you know, they're dressed like they're in their 30s, but they look like they're fucking 40 or 50. Their skin is horrific. They've got, like I seen a woman earlier on who had a piercing here, right? And it gave off that kind of, like, grungy, in her 20s, you know, vibe of, like, but she's, like, in her 40s or 50s. It didn't match up, like, do you know what I mean? You got this, like, all, like, aging female dressed and pierced up like a 20-year-old young one, and she just looks like a fucking, like, low-grade demon. Like, she's disgusting looking. Like looking at her, like, it takes willpower to keep looking at her. Like, the instinctual thing to do is, like, ugh, and look away, you know? And it's like, there's a lot of them. Like, there's a lot of, like when I look around, and I'm just in Ireland. I'm on a small island with, like, a small population. So I can only imagine what it's like in America or India, you know? You just have, like, so many unfit, horrible looking, nasty, stupid people, and they're like fucking, they're like perpetuating horrific systems, and they're having children. like if I was in charge of this whole place, if I was a farmer, I swear to God, I probably would actually come to the conclusion that it's better off to just, like, glass some places. I'd get all the kids, I'd get all the children out of a location and just glass it. Like, you know? Just be like, just start again. Like, the kids have a chance. The kids have potential. Do you know what I mean? So just kidnap all the children and just fucking glass the place. Be done with it, like. Is Ireland's electric grid run off those primary school potato batteries? Oh man, from what I've heard, it's like, it's ridiculous. Like, do you know what I mean? There are sections of Ireland that look like it's still from, like, you know, 100 years ago, like pre-World War One. And then there's sections of Ireland, like if you're in the middle of Dublin or something, that looks like, you know, like a brand new Apple store in a brand new office, a brand new like shopping center or some shit like that. Totally up to date tech, you know, touch screens, fucking, you know, like all this like what's it called? What's the term? Not altered reality. Is it altered reality? Fucking. What's the term? Fucking augmented reality. Like we have like the augmented reality shit where you can like there's like we have access to like totally modern like mainstream tech. Do you know, like most people have an iPhone or an iPad or a PlayStation 5 or like I'm using a fucking fairly decent gaming laptop to run this whole fucking stream and shit. I got internet installed and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's access to like modern tech, but the people and the culture and the island itself, in a lot of ways, like, just hasn't caught up. Like, do you know what I mean? It's all focused in the cities. So if you're not in the city, it's still just like trash. Do you know what I mean? In like lots of ways, like, you know, like, it's really interesting to, like, it's like fascinating, but it's also like infuriating and like rage inducing when like for example, right? Like when I smoked a lot of weed, like I thought I said this before in a couple of streams ago. When I smoked a lot of weed, one of the things that stood out so much to me that was like a blatant example of just utter stupidity, like needless low IQ behavior, right? Is you are in Ireland and weed is illegal, but you can buy a grinder, a bong. They sell skins that are clearly meant for the skins, like long skins with the like packs of raws or OCBs with like roaches in them and shit. Like, you know, they sell all the required paraphernalia and tools to smoke weed, but weed's illegal. That's the kind of country Ireland is. Like, if you want to know what Ireland is like in a very basic sense, that is what Ireland is like. On the whole fucking island, weed is an illegal substance. But in many places in Ireland, you can go into a shop and you can buy bongs, grinders, fucking skins, all the shit that you could possibly need to smoke yourself some ganj. But it's illegal. Make it make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, that one fact is enough for me to be like, right, you all need to go. Like, everyone in power. Not just a few of you who have made some poor decisions. No, the whole thing needs to be emptied out and refilled with people who actually have a fucking brain and a soul. You know? Like an actual awareness of fucking reality and a sense of empathy and compassion for your fellow man. And you're not just like willy-nilly making systems and decisions and engaging in like coming up with protocols that make your job easy to do and fill your fucking pockets with money and all. But what actually happens to society is it's a fucking collage, like a chaotic collage of cum stains and retards. It's fucking absolutely rage-inducing. Totally understand. My mom says she can't understand why we can't afford a home when their down payment was $5,000. Jesus fucking Christ. What a bitch. Sorry. I'm sure your mother's a nice woman. But if she said something like that to me, I'd just be like, you stupid dumb cunt. Like have you, like, do you not have a concept of like linear time and the change that happens? Like, well, why can't you just get a job or get a house? Or it's just like, I'll never forget when I left school initially and I went to go get a job, and the amount of times I went into a restaurant or a fucking toy store or just a shop or a garage, anything, just to get a normal 9 to 5, and I was met with, oh, you have to go online, or, oh, you need 2 years experience. How the fuck am I supposed to get 2 years experience if I can't get a job? Oh, go to college, get a degree, then get a job. You want me to go to college and get a degree to fucking make coffee? You want me to go to college and get a degree to become a mechanic or an engineer, when you know full well that you could just show me how to do something and I'll know how to do it in like 15 minutes. And I'm not special. I'm not really intelligent and fucking like, you know, some kind of unique phenomenon. I'm not fucking Neo. Most people, if you just go, okay, well, this is a bolt and this is a nut and it holds these two panels together. So if you take this tool, which is called a wrench, and you like unscrew the fucking like you just unscrew it and they come apart, that panel comes off. You now have access to the inside of the, you know, thing, and this is connected to this, and like you just fucking you teach them. That's what an apprenticeship is supposed to be. And apparently, like, I haven't looked at it, but from what I've heard, the apprenticeship situation in Ireland is an utter fucking shit show. You know, like, it's just, you have to go to this building and you have to study these classes. You have to do this course, which is a year long, or do this course, which is 6 months, or do this course or this fucking degree, which is 5 years, or whatever. Like, it's utterly ridiculous. Like, you like, it's like the concept of just putting someone in front of like a, you know, a till. Like, I've never used a till. Ever. I never went into retail. Thank fuck, because I probably would have killed somebody. But like, it's probably, I don't know if it is there now, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to the stage where you have to do a fucking college degree to be able to work in a shop, you know, and just sell shit. To just be able to go bleep and tell someone, you know, how much money like the thing costs. Like, it's fucking, it's like, it's so beyond the pale of how fucking utterly just mind-blowingly retarded places like Ireland have become. Like I would rather live in the fucking arse end of nowhere, where I had to just, like, you know, gather berries and fucking live in a fucking hut sometimes. Because it's like the drastic disparity between something being presented as like modern and new and convenient and this is how it works and all, like something like fucking Instagram or like or Facebook or some shit like that. Like, when it's like, you know, get connected and all this stuff. It's like, if there's millions of people online at any given time and all of these networks are supposedly connected, right? Then how come there's people like, say, like pick a name, like fucking Count Dankula, Asmongold, fucking the Lotus Eaters or some shit. Like, how come there's certain people who just instantly get loads of followers and views and shit? You know? Like, I know the algorithm, like, I know the answer. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it works in certain ways. But it's like, it doesn't make any sense that if you have this thing called the internet, and like the second you go on the internet, you're now like in this like etheric place where like all these people are on the same thing. You know, you have your European internet, the American internet, like all, but it's all the same, isn't it? It's just like different subcategories and sections and networks and stuff. Like, it's all like digitally segregated for the most part. Like, you know, I know there's like hard lines and like, you know, actual cables that run under the sea and shit. I know, like I know fundamentally how it works. But it makes no, like, it's obvious that it's rigged. It's just like everything else in your fucking society for the most part. It's rigged to only allow certain things to happen, you know? And like, I know that it couldn't just be a free-for-all, because then you'd have like psychopaths putting like, you know, child porn in places that it shouldn't be or some shit like that. Like, so there has to be some kind of regulation. But there's a difference between regulation and rigging something. Like, you know, like, there's a difference between checking in now and again and being like, oh yeah, everything's fine, we don't need to, like, you know, we don't need to weed the garden right now, and then like just like, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's a difference between that and what they've been doing for the last 15 years, which is where they're going in and meticulously and intentionally fucking with shit so that only certain things happen. You know, it's like, you're not allowed to talk about that. You know, you're not allowed to advertise this. You're not gonna get any money because your thing isn't like this. Like, you're not gonna get any attention because you don't have the right hashtags. You're not gonna get any attention because you're white. You're not gonna get any fucking, like, it's crazy, like, you know. And the whole time that they're doing that shit, yeah, it's the same fucking psychopath gaslighting cunts that are, like, you know, complaining about systemic oppression. Like, the ones propping it up and making it shit are like, oh, it's so shit. It's like, and like, that's where my brain just gets to the point where it's like, oh, let's just kill them all. Like, so, like the instant logic answer that the secular side of my brain just comes to, would it not just be easier to get rid of all these people? Like, I mean, there's so many of us that know that this is all shit, and that this could be better, and like, all these systems would work if you just like made them fucking not retarded. So why don't we just drag all these people out, shoot them in the head, and fucking get on with our lives? And then you look at the French Revolution and you're like, okay, I get it. Like, we can't just kill them all. For context, the same house would require 120 grand down today. I know, like, and that's the thing. It's like, it's not just houses. It's like a car. Like, if I wanted to just go out and buy a car right now, I'd need like tens of thousands of euros. You know, unless I wanted to buy a second-hand one. Like, if I want to go, like, there's like a car dealership. There's like a Seat or a Toyota car dealership down the road. If I want to just go down there and just buy a car straight up, it's like tens of thousands of fucking euros. It's like, so if I earn, say, ballpark 60 grand a year, which here would be like, okay, you know, depending on where you're living and like what kind of house you want and stuff like that, like, you know, that's pretty comfortable, you know. Now, what kind of job would I need to get that kind of income? God only fucking knows, like, you know. And then, like, like a sixth to like a third even of your income would be spent on just purchasing the car, and then there's like insurance and tax and all this fucking shit. Like, it is such a fucking, it's like, I've gone from thinking that it's an intentionally malevolent system for the most part, which, don't get me wrong, there is an element of malevolence to it. There is an element of intentional demonic energy to it and shit. But like, I really have like gotten to the point where I'm just like, I am so fucking frustrated and fed up with feeling like I am surrounded by fucking idiots. I'd almost rather be surrounded by demons, you know? Like, I would be less stressed if I just had to pick up an axe and slay a monster, like, every Tuesday. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I literally had to go out the back garden every Tuesday and go, oh, there's another fucking demon, okay, like, and like, that thing might kill me. Do you know what I mean? Every Tuesday I'll have to go out with like a big fucking axe and take on a 9 foot tall, red skinned, horned, clawed demon. I would rather fucking do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like, in a sense, like, easier to handle in like a spiritual and mental like process way, where it's like, okay, I just need to go out and kill that thing. And there's like a way to kill it. It's like, it's got strengths, it's got weaknesses. I have these tools available to me. Right, let's fucking throw down, you big cunt, you know? But like, the environment we exist in now, the challenges that we face is like, you can't actually, like, you can't grab it. You can't get a hold of, like, do you know, it's not like somebody just like somebody robs somebody robs your wallet out in the middle of the street. You can't just go, hey, you scum, and like grab him and fuck him up and take your shit back, and then just like be like, right, be gone, you know, or like hand him to the authorities. You can't do that. It's all just fairy dust, you know. You go on the fucking internet and you try like, if you're me and you try to fucking put a painting up for sale, and the first 5 people to get in contact with you don't actually want to buy the painting. You know, you have any idea how fucking frustrating that is? To spend hours creating something and then put a price tag on it that, like, I think is, like, extremely reasonable. I'm not charging, like, fucking €1,250 for something that took me 8 hours to paint, you know? I'm like 600 quid. It took me hours, and there's a lot of paint on that, and the paint's expensive, and the paper's expensive, and all, like, you know, 600 fucking quid. And the first 5 people to show interest, 3 of them are bots by the look of it, and 2 of them are straight up scam artists asking for NFT and shit. You know, like, it's like literally everything you fucking come in contact with is a lie, a deception, an illusion, a scam. It's designed to make you feel like shit. It's designed to demoralize you. It's designed to do all this. And then you hang out with the bears and you're like, oh fuck, real people. You know, like, you go on Bertaria Times and it's like, look, here's a tomato I grew. You know, like, I'm gonna eat that tonight. I planted it months ago. Like, do you know what I mean? It's just like action, results, you know, fuck it, like faith, consequent, like, it's real. It's fucking real. It just works. Stuff just works. People just do stuff. Like, when I got onto Printer Bear and I was like, hey bro, you want to do some fucking t-shirts? And he's just like, yeah, there we go. Email back and forth, like, and now the t-shirts are now the t-shirts are in the works. You know, another week or so, and I'm going to have enough numbers to be able to, like, alright, X amount of people want this, and blah, blah, like, and I'll do an official thing and drop the link, and you can all start ordering Peinteingu t-shirts. Done, fucking dusted. Everything should be like that, because everything used to be like that. You'd fucking wake up in the fucking morning and be like, what do I need today? Alright, my fucking... My bow broke yesterday while I was out hunting. Right, so I need to go to the fucking... blacksmith or the fucking, what are they called? There's like a specific word for a guy who makes bows, like a fucking stringer or some fucking shit. I don't fucking know. But, like, you'd go to the dude in the village and be like, I need you to fix my bow. And then he'd be like, alright, that's gonna cost you 3 gold coins. And he'd be like, alright, there's 3 gold coins, fix my fucking bow. You fucking leave for a while, you come back, he's fixed your fucking bow. You know, like, it's the amount that, like, now you just go like, alright, what do I need? This. Okay, I can't get that here, anywhere. So literally my only option is to go onto the internet and I have to order it, and it takes time to show up, and sometimes it's like, you know, you order this but you get that. You know, like, fair play to Amazon, most of the time when you order whatever you order, you get what you ordered, like, but it's like, it's so fucking crazy to me that people think the way we're living right now is, like, good. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many people out there. It's like, oh, I love my iPhone, and I love Amazon, and I love all this shit, and it's all so convenient and cool, and the whole time you're sitting in this fucking multi-million-dollar apartment doing your fucking OnlyFans pic, you vapid whore, society's falling apart. Like, society's systematically falling apart around you, and, like, you think it's a good thing that you can make 50 grand a month by showing strangers your tits. Like, I fucking... Like, the whole feminist thing is really, like, really gone to the dogs. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm delighted, because I fucking hate feminists, you know? But, like... Armourer, thank you. It's just, like, it's fucking unbelievable to me where you have these just unbelievably stupid bitches who think it's a good thing that, like, they can make not, like, what's the word I'm looking for? They can make exorbitant, like, just outlandish, outlandishly inflated amounts of money by being a whore. It's like, yeah, well, like, I'm not actually a whore or a prostitute, like, you know, because, you know, I'm not having sex with anyone or whatever. Like, it's like, but you're taking lewd images, like photos of yourself, or even like sexually suggestive photos of yourself, and you're just taking money from strangers on the internet, and you think that's like, you're like, you think that's a good thing, and then you wonder why, like, there's like hordes of men who fucking hate you, and women like you, because it's like they'll have to bust their ass as a bin man to make fuck all money, and they come home sore and stinking, and like you can just stand in front of a camera naked and make 10 times what he makes. And you expect people to like what, fucking respect you or some shit, like, do you know what I mean? Or like or even acknowledge you're like a real person anymore. Like I don't. Sometimes like I am genuinely like at a loss as to how some of these fucking retards rationalize this stuff. You know? It's fucking beyond the pale, like. Time for Ravengoo.
This is Dave, head of marketing at a ketchup company about to use Grammarly to handle...
Woo is just like, hop all as well. Glass it all, Peinteingu orphan trains commence for... I was like, dude, like, you remember what, yeah, like with the first time you look at those orphan trains and you're like, Jesus, that's kind of dark. It's like, what if it wasn't? You know? What if they did exactly that? What if somebody like me got in charge and was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna kidnap all the children. We're gonna take all the kids. And like, maybe while we're taking the kids, we're like, if you see someone in the interim that seems like they have a fucking soul and a sense of awareness, you know, we'll take them too. Like, but then we're just gonna fucking glass the place. And then, you know, what? Probably, maybe 10 years? Probably not even that. It'd probably take 10 years for all, like, every shit to start growing back. Like, just because you glass the place doesn't mean that it's not gonna, like, be usable. You just, like, flatten it. Flatten it with fire. Like, it's like I was saying yesterday. It's just like, kill it with fire. Like, when you just... This whole bullshit of, like, you know, these groups like Amnesty International and stuff like that, it's like, oh, human rights. Humans don't have rights. Human rights are a concept, right? You don't have the right to fucking anything. There are rules to this place that were not made by us. And if you adhere to those rules, you will more than likely have a good life. Shit just works, right? Because it's designed that way. But there is a fuck ton of people who are using and have used their free will to literally do the opposite and not adhere to the rules of this place and claim, you know, that that God has given them rights. You have a God-given right. No, you don't. You don't have a fucking God-given right to anything. How can you claim God gave you a right? Oh, well, he came down on a mountain a long time ago and he told this guy called Moses, and then he, like, carved it into stone and all this. I don't believe you. It's just a story. Do you know what I mean? Like, for one thing, it makes fuck all sense in loads of ways. That's why metaphorically and allegorically, it actually makes sense. Like, metaphorically and allegorically, it actually makes a lot of sense. That's where the truth comes out, you know? Or like fucking 3 days and all this fucking winter shit and the seasons and the cosmological, you know, meta truth to all this shit. But like, if you're trying to tell me that some divine entity just on a random fucking Friday turned around to one dude beside a burning bush, do you know what I mean? Like, Moses, I have come to you to disseminate information to the people to make them better, to save them from themselves, and all this fucking shit. It's such a load of bollocks. Like, even with Noah and like, there's a flood coming, fucking, like, build a boat. Do you know what I mean? Like, why does it have to be God that told him that? Do you not think that Noah just could have been a moral man and looked around at his surroundings and been like, I'm gonna prepare for the worst, because I've been paying attention for a while now, and these sons of Cain guys are fucking not to be messed with, and they're only gonna get worse. They've nearly killed all the deer. There's fuck all flowers growing. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to leave. Do you know what I mean? And like, I keep looking at the fucking coastline and the signs and the stars, and like, I had a chat with that really old dude up on the mountain, and he said this has happened before and all this fucking shit. Like, why does it have to be God? Why does it have to be like, God came to me and told me? I'll tell you why. So that it can fucking do all this fucking remove self-accountability, remove responsibility bullshit, where you turn around to them and give them all your consent, all your power, and be like, oh, so you speak to God? Okay, I'll listen to you then. Immediate fucking, just like, right there and then, you like fucked everything up. When you started claiming that you are the fucking mediator, you're the conduit between the eternal and the divine, and fuck it, like, the fucking unbelievable stupidity of people to believe someone so fucking unbelievably arrogant and manipulative. Oh yeah, I talked to God and he said we should do this. If you ever fucking believe someone who says some shit like that, it's your own fucking fault. Like, if somebody turned around to me and was like, oh yeah, I had a chat with God, and apparently, like, we have to adhere to these 10 rules, or shit's just gonna get worse. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, my first instinct would just be like, okay, nigga, I just walk away. Like, do you know, like, I just, like, ugh. I don't consider myself to be incredibly intelligent. I don't consider myself to be even, like, you know, above average intelligence, like, most of the time, because I don't like arrogant people. And I don't want to constantly sit around going, like, you know, oh, I'm way smarter than most people. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, how do you, like, I'm sure you guys can relate to that, because it's like, it's not like, I used to say this a lot. If I was really smart, like, if I was really, really intelligent, I wouldn't have the problems I have, because I would possess the intellect to solve my problems, you know? So I'm always like, well, I'm clearly not, like, you know, really, really intelligent or wise or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, but then when you look at, like, the difference just in your own environment of, like, the difference between my behavior and other people's behavior, ugh. It's like, I mean, like, okay, maybe I'm not that, like, maybe my metric of intelligence is just totally different, like, you know? It's like, what I consider to be really intelligent is like someone like Owen Benjamin, or someone like Tom Barnett, or someone like fucking Chris Gardner, who, like, make their own shit, fucking, you know, like, they look at things in, like, you know, like a big picture sense, and they go, okay, well, this would probably be a good move, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, they're just real, they're just honest, they're just, like, adhere to truth, you know? Well, if I drop this ball, it you know, it falls to the ground. Okay, well, so we'll mark that down as, like, you know, shit that just happens. X plus Y equals Z. But then you have all these people who's just like, they're fucking, their version of reality is based on opinion. Like, do you know what I mean? It's, like, so fucking stupid. Like, it really is. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, like, these fucking idiots, like, their reality is based on their feelings and their opinions of things. Like, how do you expect anything to work out? Like, it's just so retarded to me, like. And, like, I swear to God, I think because I've played video games from a young age, that's one of the things that, like, makes me think like this. It's like, hold on. If you behave in a certain way within certain parameters, like, you have given parameters, you have a rule, you have an environment that has certain rules, and you start behaving in certain ways, And it's like, okay, if I behave in these ways, I don't progress to level 2. I just stay here running into the wall. Every time if I keep trying to do this, that enemy around the corner always gets me. Okay, so how do I get to level 2? I need to behave in a different manner. I need to like pay attention to the rules of the environment that I am engaging in, and I need to behave in a manner that actually results in consequences of my actions that get me to level 2. And it's like, that's just not how most people think. Most people think like, I want this, I want that, how do I get it? What's the easiest way to get what I want? It's like, is wanting certain things even a good thing? Like should you want that? You know? That's the level I'm at. Like, that's the level of thinking I'm at. It was like, should you even desire that? Is desiring that thing a good thing in the first place? Oh, it's crazy, man. I really had a lot to rant about today, didn't I? Not complaining, brother. I have learned to be content with the roof and food in my kids' bellies. Let them have their comforts. We will be stronger for it. Yeah, like that's actually, do you know, that's actually one of the things that actually causes a lot of frustration with me, is the fact that I am content, but it's other people who aren't, you know. Like, I am content. Like, I'm gonna make dinner tonight, and like, you know, I'll have a full belly. Like, I get to watch stuff, I get to do this, I get to paint, I get to create. Like, I don't actually have any complaints about my day-to-day existence, unless it gets fucked with from outside sources, like, you know, fucking power goes off or some shit, like. But it's like when you witness, just like if you're out in the environment and you saw somebody get mugged, right? That would upset you. You'd be like, that guy, that's wrong. I should, if nobody else is intervening, you're like, I'm gonna stop that cunt. You know, he should, like, that's wrong. He just stole that old woman's handbag. You know, he needs to be stopped. This is wrong. This should not happen. You know, that same like logic process, that same mindset, that same way of being applies to just like, you know, when I walk outside and someone in a shop just says something stupid, or if they're like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it, like, I'm just reacting to my environment, where I'm like, why the fuck are you so trash? Why the fuck are you so stupid? Like, you're okay with being that fat? Like, what the fuck? Like, just, like, because I'm not, do you know what I mean? Like, I am constantly being like, okay, I need to be more productive. I need to be more disciplined. I need to smoke less. I need to drink more water. I need to do this. Like, every time somebody asks me to do, like, oh, will you do this painting for me? I'm like writing it down, and I'm like, okay, I need to do that. So I'm doing Tactical Turtle t-shirts. I'm doing a Peinteingu t-shirt. I'm fucking, I'm making a monkey out of clay. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been saying it for weeks, but I am going to do it. You know, I'm like literally spinning so many plates, I'm starting to fucking drive myself insane. But like, and then I see other people, you know, fucking, like I'll walk outside and like, you know, like this really pissed me off earlier on. There was a woman with a pram with her kid in it, right? I'm walking along the street, and like the pedestrian walkway in this town is actually quite narrow, which is ridiculously stupid, but whatever. Like, if you're making more room for cars when there's people walking around, when there's a highly pedestrianized area, and you like prioritize the room for the traffic over room for people to walk around safely, like, that's another fucking sign that you're an absolute bunch of fucking degenerate psychopaths. But I'm walking past the barbers, and the door to the barbers is right to my left, and it's like right beside me, okay, as I'm walking past it. And there's just this pram sticking out with like the kid, like, you know, the kid is in the pram, so the kid's feet are like at the end of the pram, and the kid and the pram are sticking out onto the walkway, onto the footpath, right? So I'm like, oh, I have to walk around. And as I'm walking around, I have a glance at the mother, right? I'm assuming mother, could be caretaker, whatever, who fucking knows? It could be older sister or some shit. But like, you know, you assume it's the mother. And she is hunkered down behind the pram, putting something in the pram, and she's smoking. She has a cigarette in her mouth, right? And that scenario pissed me off, because I was like, how much of a fucking dumb cunt do you need to be to put your child out in front, put your child out, like halfway out of a doorway onto a walkway, an open pedestrian where everyone's walking, and you just like shove the child out in the pram while you hunker down while you're smoking inside a barber's. Like, fair enough, you're out in the hall, so you're not actually in the barber's, but you're still like in the building, and you've already lit up, you know. So not only are you smoking around your toddler, but like you've put your toddler outside the building, so you can't see what's happening. You can't see if something's gonna hit your pram with your kid in it, and you're just like hunkered down behind it trying to do something. Just seeing that, like having to walk around that, I was like, you're a trash human being. Like, in that instant, I just like, and I like, whatever, like, people would be like, oh, don't be so judgmental. Fuck off, I will be judgmental. People fucking judge me all the fucking time. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, you should judge each other. Like, just like I said the other day, where it's like, shame works. Like, part of me wanted to turn around to her and be like, put the fucking fag out, take the pram in, sort your fucking self out before you fucking come outside. There's, like, people have to walk around your child, and the child's just like, what if someone, like, there's people who cycle up and down that thing, you know? There's like groups of fucking tourists and all walking up and down, and your kid's just like outside, like, mad, like. Do you know what I mean? It's just, like, I just see people do stuff in my environment, and I'm just like, if I was in charge of you, I would whip you. I would beat you with a cane and, like, give you a good talking to, like a stern talking to. You have a child. Like, do you know what I mean? That is your fucking child. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're responsible for keeping that thing safe, and you've just ignorantly and, like, apathetically pushed it into a situation where, like, anything could happen to that kid while you're not paying attention, and then just like smoking around the kid and all. I'm just like, oh my god, scum. like it just gets to me after a while, you know, when I'm like doing all this stuff and I'm real happy and like content and I'm making people laugh and I'm doing cool stuff and I'm having fun, and then I walk outside my front door and I'm just met with like a example of why everything is like trash, you know, a microcosm of the macrocosm, like a microcosm example of why everything is trash is because cunts like her don't know how to behave in really basic ways, you know? Like, I don't have children, and I see people with children, and I'm like, you should not have children, you know? Like, how fucked up is that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that someone who has never had kids, but like, fair enough, I got like raised till I was about 14 fairly well, do you know what I mean? So I got like a pretty good start at life, you know? I'm grateful for that, like, and that's probably why I find all of this so obscene, is because like, I'm just like I'm not even that like well put together. Like, I don't have my shit together to the level that I want to have my shit together, and then I look at other people and I'm just like, the fucking, like, the utter disregard for the consequences of your actions, for someone in your position to have a child. Do you know what I mean? Like, I find that incredibly irresponsible for two people to breed when they are clearly scum. You know? Like, they're clearly fucking, like, willful scum. Like, whatever about, like, you know, low economic class and, like, you know, having options and availability and all this shit, but it's like, scum should not be allowed to breed. Is that, like, that's not a crazy, like, eugenic thing to say, in my opinion. Maybe it is to, like, most people, but, like, I don't think that's a crazy thing to say, is that scum should not have kids. Like, people with horrible habits, horrible fucking behavior, and, like, they're fucking horrific looking, shouldn't breed. Like, to me, that's not a crazy thing to say. Like, it's just one of those days where, like, I saw a few things today, and I experienced a few things today where I was just like, fucking hell, like, it's so obvious to me, like, why everything's so shit, you know? And then I would say all this to, like, normal fucking people, and I just get called names. I'd get called crazy. I'd be like, why are you so angry? You're being such an asshole. You're saying such horrible things about people you don't even know and all, like, and all this fucking shit. And then I just turn around and go, you're fucking idiots. You know? Like, when I met with all of that ad hominem shit and, like really stupid low IQ arguments, I'm just like, it's not my fault you're a retard. It's not my responsibility, and it's not my fault that you're a retard, and I wasn't put on this earth to fucking wake you up or educate you to fucking reality, like, you know what I mean? Like, your life is your own responsibility and all that stuff, and I am perfectly in my right. Like, I know I just said we don't have rights, but it's like a thing we all say. I am perfectly comfortable with the consequences of me being honest and speaking my mind. I'm comfortable with the consequences of that. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I just find so much of this stuff just utterly fucking unbearable sometimes. Like, do you know what I mean? And, like, I think it's kind of funny where it's like, you know, we're in the bear community and we're called bears and all this shit, and Beartaria, like, you know, and the word unbearable to me now has, like, a funny connotation to it, where I'm like, I see these people as, like, you couldn't be a bear. I couldn't make you a bear, like, no matter how hard I tried. You know, like, it's like, that's unbearable to me. Even though the original, like, name for the unbearable, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're the unbearables, and now they're just called the bears. And the bears are part of, like, the unbearables, or, like, that's the original thing, like, that Owen and his listeners made, like, you know, they were called the unbearables. Now they're just called bears. And now when I see, after being in the community a while and learning all these things and experiencing all these things and, like, fucking having meetups and, like, all this fucking shit, I see normal people behaving in certain manners, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's so unbearable. And it's like, it means both things to me. It's like, not only is it something that I cannot bear to witness, or I cannot bear to put up with in my environment, it's also like, there's no hope for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely look at some people, I'm just like, you're gone. Like, there's no fucking hope for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and, like, I'm not the arbiter of that, obviously, you know, but that's how I feel. Those are the thoughts that go through my mind in those moments. I obviously know I'm not the arbiter of, like, whether or not someone's gonna make it in life, or eventually turn things around. But, like, Jesus fucking Christ, like, I'm just like, the combination of the power being off this morning, and then me witnessing and dealing with the systems involved in why it doesn't work and how those things happen, and being in this town, and, like, the juxtaposition and contradiction between, like, certain places in this town having like perfectly good updated Wi-Fi, and certain buildings in this town being like very like up to spec and like modern and like having modern amenities, and then the juxtaposition and contradiction between that and all the scummy behavior and all the shut down shops and the fucking like, you know, the clear economic strife. And it's just like, make it make sense, nigga. Like, you know, please. Like, it's so fucking annoying. That would be throwing away your talents and gifts. What, if I just like glass the place, or what's like, what you mean? Or if I went mad and killed someone? I don't know, like, what, I don't know what, when did I seriously wish there was a timestamp for the comments, so that I could just be like, when did Griff say that? About half an hour ago? What was I saying about half an hour ago? Like, indeed, like and subscribe or you have a no honor. Foreign scum. Right, I'm gonna throw a bit of fucking shading on these cunts and then I'm gonna call it a day. My arse is starting to get numb. Painting, goo 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 goo. Yeah, we'll start with the eagle.
Oh God, he's coming back! Get out of here!
Painting. Goo goo goo. I'll go back in tomorrow and put more highlights on it and stuff, and it's one of the things I actually really enjoy in the process of painting, is like laying down the dark tones and then laying down the mid tones and then being like, okay, where am I going to put the highlights to pop and stuff. And what's this? An advertisement? Not here, not now. Paint. Yeah, there was definitely a few things that just fucking stressed me the fuck out today. A few things I witnessed, a few things that happened. Just find myself in one of those moods where I'm like, fucking sick of this shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, but like, I'm not like, I don't know, a lot of people would probably do the same thing they do to Owen and be like, oh look, I'd be so angry and pissed off. It's like, no, I'm just venting. Like, I'm gonna fucking like, I'm gonna get off after the stream and fucking make myself some food and chill out and watch some Colony and do some more tactical turtle doodles. Do the rest of the words for the hat. You know, like, I'm good. Like I said, I'm content. I don't focus on that stuff. At least not anymore. I don't let I don't actually I don't let life get to me anymore, you know. But when I feel like speaking my mind, it all just comes out, you know. And because I can see the patterns and the connections and the dots joining, that's why I go on such like tangential rants, like, do you know what I mean? That's why I go on such fucking like, just like from this to this to this to this to this, because like in my mind it's all connected. Oh yeah. In my mind it's all connected. Every node of the network is corrupted in some fashion because there's a underlying fundamental issue. And that's what's frustrating sometimes, is like figuring all this stuff out and like coming to the conclusion that, like, you know, you're better off just behaving in the way we behave, of like, you know, good, true, beautiful, work on yourself, only worry about the things that you can directly control, and like take accountability and responsibility and all this stuff. Like, it's all great, like, do you know what I mean? It's drastically improved my my life, my quality of life. It's drastically improved my quality of life, my mental health, my connection with whatever kind of spiritual realm exists and stuff like this. Like, I have a whole community of people who like I regularly speak to and share stories with and make each other laugh and stuff like that. Like, you know, it's fucking excellent. Like, but it's almost like, you know, instead of being perpetually stressed and like perpetually depressed like I was years ago, now it comes in like, it's like I have a man period, you know, where like I won't be affected, or I won't be like, you know, influenced at all by outside forces or the Babylon-esque world for weeks or days, and then a few things will happen in a row where I'm like, dear fucking God, when is this stuff just gonna end? Like, you know, and I know it's not gonna end, it's just gonna change, you know, it's all just gonna have cycles and stuff like that. Like, you know, even when things do improve, there's always other things that like get worse or fucking crop up, you know. You fix one problem, another one shows up. It's always just like constantly fixing shit. And that can get tedious, like, do you know what I mean? It's like fucking when Mr. Incredible turned around in The Incredibles, it's like, you know, it's just sometimes it can get frustrating. It's like, you know, I save a town and fucking do all this stuff, and then 5 minutes later you're fucking, you know, in trouble again, and I need to like, I just saved you people. Can you not just like, can something not happen for like fucking 10 minutes? I think that's like, that's kind of how I feel sometimes now, where I'm like, alright, yeah, fair enough, like a lot of degenerate fucked up shit has happened. Oh look, some cool stuff. Alright, can we just stop the whole fucking, you know, fucking with the kids and like killing each other and fucking, can we just have a weekend where we don't act like a bunch of fucking animals? And this is an Irishman saying this to you people, like. Indeed, March Gradness, indeed. Peinteingu. Oh, how dare you, who interrupt you. Peinteingu. I'm gonna have to do his claws in it. Well, actually, what I'll do is, because you can't see this claw because it's black on black, I'll put the beehive on this claw. I'll quickly slap on the base of the beehive, and then I'll call it a day. Nearly going 3 hours now. Oh. And I didn't even think I was going to do a Peinteingu today because there was no power in the house, so... Just go with the fucking flow, you know? Like, that's how you know that I genuinely do, like... I do like doing this, and I'm not just doing this because, oh, maybe people will give me a super chat or something. The second the power was back, the second I fucked around with the fuse box and I was like, alright, grand, like, okay, the kettle came back on and I went upstairs and I was like, alright, the internet's back on, okay, cool. So as long as I keep that switch off, it's not gonna trip. So, like, you know, grand, I can make a cup of coffee, and, like, I just put it immediately in the Peinteingu chat. I was like, We'll do a late goo, yeah? We'll do a late goo. You know, like I like doing this, you know? And I've said it, like, it's so true, like, I've said it a lot of times that, like, this stream is for me as much as it is for you guys. If I couldn't, like, if I couldn't speak my mind to a group of people who, like, you know, will relay and understand where I'm coming from, and I was just, like, on my own all the time, surrounded by all this shit, I probably, like, there probably would be a chance that I'd slip back into my old mindset of, like, oh, fuck this, what's the point? Because that is fundamentally what happened to me, like, on a fundamental level. I got to a point in my late 20s where I was just like, I've had enough, I give up. I tapped out. Like, I tapped out of life for a while. I was like, I'm sick of trying. I'm sick of being nice to people. I'm sick of trying to be honorable. I'm sick of trying to fucking, you know, be nice to my mother, and she keeps lying and fucking having, like, emotional meltdowns. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sick of trying to fucking have a relationship with my father when he's a fucking, just this, like, narcissistic wanker. Do you know what I mean? I just got sick of it all. And I was just like, fuck this, like, I'm out, like... And because I kind of vaguely kind of believed in it... Like, here's a weird one for you. I was more open to suicide because I believed there was an afterlife. Like, you know... Like, if I'd have been a total nihilist and, like, like completely secular, and was just, like, an atheist, and I was like, alright, if I kill myself, it's all just gonna stop. And, like, you know, it's all just gonna go black and I'm gonna be gone. I probably would have been like, alright, well, I can't kill myself then, because, like, there's still lots of stuff that I like doing. But because I did actually believe in some form of afterlife, and was like, you know, I don't think it's just gonna stop when I die. I think I'm gonna go somewhere else. But then I started thinking about, like, yeah, but where will I go? You know? Like, what, like, I'm sure there is a consequence to suicide. You know? I would put money on there being a spiritual consequence to suicide, to taking your own life prematurely or whatever, like, you know? Because I do believe we all have a fate. I do believe you're meant to do something. You're made to do something. But, I don't know, it's just like, I thought that was kind of funny when I thought about it. It was like, the fact that I believed in an afterlife actually kind of weirdly gave me the courage, I suppose, to be like, alright, well, I don't think it's the end, so, like, I'll just hang myself and see what happens. Like, so, I, like, in that sense, it's like, that is quite, like, it's quite, and it's like the stupid side of Brave, where it's like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know something's gonna happen, so, like, let's just see what happens. Versus, like, oh, I believe it all just turns to black. Like, that to me is, like, really fucked up. Where, like, if you genuinely don't believe in an afterlife and you think like the second you die it's just gonna be oblivion, and you still decide to kill yourself, like that's like messed up. That's like really, really, really dark. But like that wasn't my point of view. I was like, I know this place isn't the end. Well, I don't know, but like, you know, like I have a strong inclination that like I'll just go somewhere else when I kill myself. And that's what made me go like, okay, well, yeah, I'm sick of this place. I'm pretty sure this isn't the end. So like, let's go find out what's on the other side. Like, fuck it. I'm sick of this place, so let's go find out what the other place is like. Like, oh. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful that I decided against it. I am very grateful that I decided against it. What's this? Another advertisement. How fucking dare you? Interrupting Peinteingu. Shit. Thank you, Defenderoo. Today's been great. Well, I'm glad it like I'm just delighted that I haven't like soured your mood or fucking or like, you know, deterred you from watching the stream at all by just like essentially bitching about my frustrations. Like I'm totally aware, like, do you know what I mean, that like there are Peinteingu, there's episodes of Peinteingu where I'm just like I just want to bitch about all this stuff. Like, I need it. I need a vent. I need to be like, I need to speak to people who I know will be like, no, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, I get it. Like, you don't even need to agree with me. Do you know what I mean? I just need someone to like relate on some level. Like, oh. I remember having like a fucking brilliant like 3-hour phone call with Stuntman Bear like sometime last year, and I was so grateful to him for just like talking to me. It was a humbling moment where I was like, I'm like that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a little bitch. So I don't actively seek out, like, you know, I'm not the type to turn around and go, hey bro, like, can we talk? You know, I kind of need to talk about some. I'm not like that, you know. And like sometimes I need it, you know, because I think everybody gets to a point where they just need to fucking like speak their mind about shit, like, do you know what I mean? But like I don't naturally do that. I don't go, hey, like, you know, can we talk? Because I think that's kind of feminine. I grew up, you know, under the context and the preconception that, like, well, I didn't grow up under the preconception. I was raised with the idea that men, like, basically shouldn't show their emotions at all, and I learned very quickly that it's about like disciplining your emotions. It's not about, like, you know, being in control of your emotions, yeah, but you still need them. You still need to express them. You still need to feel them. Because if you don't, you fucking turn into a psychopath. Like, do you know what I mean? Like men who don't feel, like women too, but like, you know, like mainly men. I'm talking about men now. Like, if you're Like, I'm not talking about getting in touch with your feminine side or anything like that. It's just like, just be honest. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you see these men who try to be like, you know, nerves of steel and stoic and all this stuff and all, like, and it just, that's what makes them crack, is they can't do that. They have to at least be able to turn around and go, oh man, this fucking sucks. You know? They need to be able to just like express it on some level. And I get like that now and again, where I'm like, oh, I just need to fucking, like, I just need to say what I'm thinking out loud and have it bounce off someone else, and then be like, yeah, you're not alone, you know. I need to get better at doing that. Like, I've noticed in the last few, I've noticed, like, big style from being a part of this community, that like I'm not good at, like, I'm not good at socializing in this modern era. I'm really good at socializing in person, you know. I'm really good at interpersonal, like, up front, like, actually in front of you, local. Like, I'm really good at that shit, and that shit I enjoy. I would sit across a table from someone and, like, have a coffee and a cigarette and talk for fucking 3-4 hours about multiple subjects and have a great conversation, like, you know. But when it comes to, like, using the phone, or using, like, email, like, using the internet, or even, like, just using a phone, like, text and phone calls and stuff, I don't think to, like, ring people and text people and be like, hey, what's up, you know. Because, like, in my, like, I'm always doing something, and I always just, like, kind of assume that, like, when the times of day that I pick to be like, oh, I'll give blah 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 a ring, I'm always like, oh, he's probably doing something. You know, like, he's probably not in the mood to speak to me. Like, you know what I mean? He probably doesn't want to talk to me because, like, he's probably winding down from a hard day's work. You know, like, why the fuck would he want to talk to my ass? And, like, I suppose, like, it probably is. I just have, like, a lot of leftover negative mental bad habits from, like, all the fucking shit that I've been through, where I should try be more positive and more optimistic about things, because I can be quite pessimistic because I've been repeatedly let down and betrayed and fucking fucked over and shit, like, so I can be quite pessimistic, like, you know. But I'm getting there. I'm learning. I'm trying to be more positive. It's not even about being positive. It's more like optimistic. I'd use the word optimistic because I am a really positive person, you know. It's just like, because I've got that real, like, you know, I don't lie and, like, I speak the truth and, like, and all this fucking shit. Like, one of the consequences of that is, like, I can't lie to myself. So when something true is, like, apparent, I'm like, okay, well, that's the truth, so I have to deal with that, like, you know, like. So an inevitable consequence of that is, like, if something repeatedly if something repeatedly turns out negative, I get to a point where I'm like, that's probably gonna be shit. You know, like, I've seen this happen 10 times and 9 out of 10 times it's shit, so it's probably gonna be shit. And because of, like, the world we live in and shit like that, like, I look at most things in society and I'm like, it's probably gonna be shit. And I'm usually right. But that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be more optimistic. Much love, Japanite brothers and sisters. I, for one, am glad you stayed in this plane, buddy. Ah, thanks, man. I'm glad too. Like, I'm happy to be here. Like, I'm happy I stayed. I'm happy I chose to stay. Like, but I was genuinely like kind of interested to be like, kind of sick of this place. I want to see the other side. You know, like I had more misplaced rage than anything else. I wasn't like really sad and like depressed and I just don't want to do this anymore. I couldn't express my profound level of unbridled wrath for multiple reasons. So I just wanted to leave. You know, like, the same way I'd have an argument with Emma or something, and I'd be like, I'm going for a walk. I can't be here right now. Like, you're pissing me off. I'm going to get to the stage where I want to fucking rip your head off your shoulders. The same way that would happen. It basically, like, in the way that would happen in a microcosm, it happened in the macro for me, where I was like, I can't stay here anymore, like, in this realm. Like, I'm sick of this shit. Like, I'm so fucking frustrated and annoyed. And there's no way I could just, like, you know, fucking, like, physically just, like, wrestle it and, like, force it into submission so it stops pissing me off. Okie dokie. I've set up the beehive. So we'll do that tomorrow. Try and put more layers on the lamp. And make the shoes look a bit better. You see, just getting rid of the astronaut white shoes I did, like, makes it look like a pile of shoes. More than it did before. So I'm happy with that. Our little horror cost Rorrercoaster adventure is turning out to be quite fun. I think this is probably going to look pretty hilarious when we finish it. Like, have we decided what's going to go in this one yet? In this cart, I can't remember. Anyway, okie dokie. As per usual, my arse is sufficiently numb. So, I will conclude the Peinteingu. I can't believe I did a whole 3 hours and I didn't descend to proper Peinteingu posture. How dare I? You know? The top knottu was not on full display. Right, ladies, gentlemen, bears, bearettes, niggers, niggerettes, all of you, foreign dogs, mortars, monkeys. I hope you enjoyed today's Peinteingu. I am grateful that I have an outlet. I am very grateful that I have an outlet to vent my frustrations and simultaneously entertain you all and give you something to relate to and listen to. I do hope that anyone watching this episode doesn't take anything I said too to heart or too personally or too seriously. I am just a mad Irishman LARPing as a Japanese demigod on the internet, trying to be good, true, and beautiful. So, forgive me if today's episode was a tad negative, but I needed to vent. So, I will return. Same time. Same price. Well, not the same time, because today was 5 p.m. Tomorrow, usual time, 3 p.m. It will be time out to gather chi up your spine. I will return 3 p.m. tomorrow. Tomorrow is Fry's tag, Fry's day. So, we'll try and finish strong. So until then, be good, be true, and be beautiful. God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow. Auf Wiedersehen, meine Lieben.